Live from beautiful downtown Bastrop, it's time for the Stage Select, starring Julian Titus and Justin Ham.
What could this possibly be? Seems a lot like a podcast. Wonder what specifically. Talking about video games. With your hosts, you're in good hands. Not more of the same. Now we'll jump right in. So expect the unexpected and more. Now we'll get grooving. There ain't always gonna walk through the door. There just might be some strategy in this. Just having fun with a special guest. Time for Stage Select.
And here are your hosts, Julian Titus and Justin Ham.
Welcome, one and all, to the Stage Select. I'm Julian Titus.
I'm Justin Ham. I keep thinking about making up fake names every time I introduce myself on the show, and then I forget to do it.
No, I say let's get at least a season or two in before that. Like, we still need to establish
Now
ourselves
I want to do
on
it
this
more.
one.
I won't because I'll forget. And I'm too lazy to do it anyway. But anyway, I'm here. I made it.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
We are a video game variety show, and so far, so good. No Phantom sightings this week, so Phantom Watch continues.
Well, now let's get to what we really want to do. Look up bad games on Steam. No, we won't do that. Although I really want to now. That was entertaining to Justin.
Yes, we were looking at a lot of bad games for possible nomination for the Suffer Select on Patreon.
I can do that.
The show started.
I could do that for hours. And be.
Oh no!
very
I tried to
entertained.
stop you, and you kept on going, and then I was like, "No, we should really start." And you were like, "Okay, but this is actually what I want to do now."
Yeah, that's it. That's what I want to do. Sorry. Yeah.
Before we get started, couple quick things. One, very important. Megan McDuffie is currently, as you're listening to this, as this comes out, she has a GoFundMe for her next album, and it needs a little bit of help. And if you can give the wonderful Megan McDuffie a little bit of help on getting her new album into fruition, that would be awesome. I'll have the link for it in the show description. And if you are able to donate anything in the message, let her know that the Stage Select sent you. That'd be really cool. She will also be making an appearance later on for a musical guest spot. The world needs more Megan McDuffie music.
Yeah,
so
why not?
Let's get together and make this happen for her.
Yeah,
because she definitely deserves it. And then also, I just talked to Bill on A Gamer Looks at 40. We did the next part of like the Final Fantasy series, like my interview, so he's working on that, and those are continuing to come out.
All right.
And then Joe and Vito over at Perfect Storm, like they kind of took about a month off. I guess like Vito was like on vacation for a bit or whatever, but they're back and they're doing their thing, and it's a lot of fun. So
nice. I'll
have a link for them as well, as a reminder. Like their little their streams that they do with like guests and stuff like that are a lot of fun and really chill. And even if they both made fun of the fact, like they were making fun of me, but they had some very strong pizza opinions, and apparently mushrooms are forbidden, and that's like my favorite pizza topping. So
well,
I don't know.
They're right. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, well,
no,
that's fine.
Yeah,
right. Look, I grew up in Texas, right, and so it's not like we have a lot of like excellent pizza options out here. And before that, I lived in Ohio, which I think also not known for great pizza. Or
no,
am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong at all.
Yeah.
No,
so I never had a chance.
It's fine. Yeah, I mean we have Cameo Pizza, which me and Mike have talked about, and that's fine.
Yeah,
pretty decent. But no, it's not good. It's not great.
No,
I mean, I don't know. I the other place I lived was Utah, and that also had terrible pizza. So yeah,
we can at least all agree that California is doing it the worst.
Probably, or Nebraska. I wouldn't put it past Nebraska.
Crackers with sauce on it.
I wouldn't put it past Nebraska to be bad at pizza.
Yeah, or just about anything.
You said it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Also the most Chets per capita of any state.
Did you
Nebraska.
know? Funny story. Cameo Pizza has a I wouldn't call it a sister chain, but an adjacent chain, like a split off, if you will, like a side band called Chet and Matt's Pizza, which is where people had a disagreement with Cameo Pizza and went and made their own pizza, and they do it the way they wanted to do it. It's called Chet and Matt's Pizza. You can look it up. It exists. It's pretty good.
It's just like a Chet to get,
Just
pissed
like a
off
Chet.
about the way things are being done and then say, I'm going to go my own way.
And they
do
did.
it this way.
They did.
Yeah.
Them and Matt.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then there's lots of sports stuff there. You can look at all the sports.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at it.
Surprising lack of comment about
Well, people weren't
the
that
sports
upset
talk
about
last
the sports
episode.
talk. We didn't, we were very accurate. That's all.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We nailed it. People very excited about Padres baseball.
Yes.
Should we look up some Padres baseball? Hold on. Let's look it up. Let's
I don't know. I don't know if
Hold
we
on.
need to do that.
You know what?
Right now.
Time to talk about Padres baseball now. I didn't even have anything planned for this, but we're doing it. Let's see if they won. They're playing the Dodgers at 9-4 in 10 minutes while we're recording this. They're going to play the Dodgers. Who do you think's going to win that game, Julian?
The second one.
The Dodgers? No, man,
Sure.
not a team player. This guy, that's not into the Padres. I see.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
and they're, I'm not really religious anymore.
Well, that's fair. That's fair. Let's see. This week in Padres baseball, they played the Arizona Diamondbacks. And
Didn't baseball end for the year already?
no, it's just starting.
Oh,
There was spring training. Julian, is when it kind of starts. So spring is when then it goes all summer, and then October is when it ends, because that's when the World Series.
That's
is.
a long time from now.
It's a long season. It's a long season, so we all have to buckle up. Let's see. This week they played the
Football's
Diamondbacks.
over right now, right?
Football is
We're done
over.
with football?
Yes, we're done with football,
Okay.
and we're ending basketball. That is over. That is coming
For
to an
good?
end. No,
Holy shit.
No, not for good. Not for good. Unfortunately, it will come back. Let's see. Well, they won this. The Padres won the series against the Diamondbacks. They won 2 games, and the Diamondbacks only won once. So pretty good. Beat them 13-1. It's pretty good. They did good. Padres winning a lot of baseball games right now, Julian. They're looking good. I'm excited about the Padres.
They play the same team more than once?
Yeah, you play them like 3 times, like 2 or 3 times, in a row.
Why is this a national pastime?
Well, Julian, you can't just play one game against them and then be like, okay. Well, you play like 3 games in a row against them, and then because then they'll play you at your home stadium, right? And then later, a few months later, then you go to their home stadium and you play them again, and you see how it goes then. See? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, that's how it goes.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How good do you think the Padres are going to do this year? They're looking pretty all right. I don't know what their overall record is.
I'm sure they'll be fine.
You're sure they'll be fine?
I think they'll do the thing okay.
They'll do the thing okay. Let's see what see where their standings are. Let's see. They are second. They're playing the Dodgers, who are first, so they could make some headway there, Julian. They could make some headway if they win some games here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that's Padres baseball. Thank you for listening.
Oh, along those lines,
yeah.
I don't know if you were aware of this, and I can't believe that I'm pointing this out, but there was no 311 button last episode.
I
Justin.
did know.
Okay, was that intentional?
No, we just didn't find a good place to put it in.
Okay, that's fair.
Not every episode needs to have the 311 button, Julian. It's okay.
That's fair.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll get to 311 facts at some point.
I mean, yeah, it'll happen. Don't rush these things. Or maybe I'll just make one episode that's nothing but 311 facts.
Please, no. I can't. No.
Yeah.
No, I can't.
Why not?
I can't sign off on that.
That'll be fun. What if we get 311 on the show? Then we have to do that.
Okay, but you only get to press the button the one time.
I mean, what if I made more than one 311? It'd be pretty all right. You know what? We should just do it now. Let's chill. It's time.
That's what I was worried about when I brought it up.
You brought it up. You made this bed, and now it's time for the 311 minute. As soon as I can find my notes, here we go.
It's time for 311 to lie in it.
Yep. Well, here's your 311 fact of the day. Bassist Aaron Peanut Wills can tell if you're a vampire or not. He knows. He knows if you're a vampire. So if you're a vampire out there, might want to stay away from him because he'll sniff you out. He'll be like, "Oh, you're out there sucking blood, and I know it. I know it." And that's your 311 minute. Thanks for your time.
Chill.
Now back to whatever the hell we're doing in this episode.
Yeah, we should probably talk some video games.
Okay, fine.
Can we talk? Let's talk about some video games.
Do we have to? I mean,
I would like to.
Okay, fine. All right.
I think you played the big thing.
Oh yeah. I guess I did
this week.
Do you want me to talk about that first? Okay, we'll do that first.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I played Hades 2.
I also played Hades 2.
Oh, nice. Cool.
I didn't tell Justin this before.
No, he didn't.
But
He surprised me. Yeah.
Yes.
That's cool.
I can also talk about this subject.
Hell yeah. So I had finished Eiyuden Chronicle the day before, like on the Sunday before it happened, before it came out, and I was like, I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do when I get home. This is gonna suck. I'm gonna probably just go down Steam and try to find something to do. And so I got on Steam and it was like, Hades 2 early access out now. I was like, well, that's what I'm doing today.
Mm-hmm.
And I played it and it's pretty good. I like it.
Yeah, I was thinking about this and it's like, oh yeah, that indie company that's made nothing but great games.
Yeah.
They made another great game.
Yeah.
And it's like, it feels like really dismissive, but it's like, yeah, they did it.
Yeah.
Now, I will say that I am not, like, there's definitely been like a little bit of rumblings of like, oh, they just made Hades 2 because Hades 1 was such a hit. And it's like, yeah, that's what you do.
Well, yes, but also like I know you didn't completely finish Hades 1, right? Like
I have not finished it, period. And I feel that I'm being punished.
You beat
in Hades 2.
beat like one run of it, right?
No,
Oh,
I've
man.
gotten to Hades once,
Okay.
and I got him close, and ever since then, I have never been able to get past
Oh, man.
the duo in
Yeah, those
Elysium.
guys are tough.
Yeah,
But okay, well, I'm gonna have
and
to.
I actually was going to ask you,
Okay,
am I being punished for not finishing Hades 2? Because I feel like I have no
you
idea
probably
what's going on in this
shouldn't even
game.
be playing Hades 2 if you're interested in the storyline of
Interesting.
What's going on.
Okay. Yeah.
There's like a pretty early, like the entire concept of it is like pretty based on you knowing kind of what happens at the end of that game.
That was the sense that I was getting.
Yeah.
And yeah, I definitely, I was like, man, it almost feels like I need like a last time on.
It's well, not exactly. It's set. So they did this in Hades 1. They're doing kind of the same kind of storytelling, and I'm kind of a big fan of how they do this, where they just kind of blind drop you in and then explain it as they go. And I kind of love that.
I do appreciate it.
They do it here too, where they're like, okay, you're this person. You don't really know who they are, much about them. And then you slowly kind of pick up on what's going on. Like in this one, like, how to explain it without spoiling the plot of Hades 1 for Julian.
So here's the thing. And I don't know, maybe we need to cut this. You could let me know after I say it. I can't tell if Malinoe is Zagreus's daughter or his sister.
Sister.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Because the family portrait looks weird to me because it almost looks like Grandpa Hades is like, like blessing the union of Zagreus and some woman that I haven't seen, and this is their baby.
Yeah. That woman that you haven't seen is very important, and you probably should play Hades 1 and at least beat one run of it. Yeah, like this is like kind of insane to me because I'm like, oh man, yeah, like there's a lot of stuff in there where I'm just like, oh yeah. Like,
yeah,
this
I was
one's
curious. It's the new one, right?
Yeah,
I wanted to see.
No, I get it. Yeah. This one's like set like presumably far into the future, like of
That's what I was getting.
Hades 2. Yeah, like that's where I'm guessing its timeline is.
Yeah, because at least I've already seen at least one character from the first game, maybe two. It's funny. I think I found the Justin character like in the first 5 minutes of the game. Like, well, after you get to the hub for the first time.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh no, there she is.
Yeah.
That's the Justin character.
Who, Nemesis?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Nemesis is awesome.
Yeah. But I also wasn't sure if that was supposed to be the first boss from Hades 1.
No.
With a different name. It's not. Okay.
No,
she's very similar.
She is related to them.
Okay, that's
yes.
why I was getting that vibe.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they are related. I believe. Yeah. There's a bunch of stuff storyline wise that's like, yeah, it's kind of hard to explain without having played through the first one.
Sure.
But it's gameplay wise, like I definitely think I'm not sure how I feel about everything in it yet. I think it's pretty good. Plays a lot like the other one.
Yeah. Malinois is a very different character.
Yeah.
Like the way, like gameplay wise.
Yeah. The mana system is different. That's interesting.
Yeah, she's more of a, by default, she's more of a ranged character, and like, her cast is kind of to slow enemies down so that she can like get spacing and use her ranged attack until you unlock a close-up melee weapon, which
yes.
I just did a run with that. It's like the daggers, and like I don't mesh well with those.
Oh yeah. I do pretty okay with those actually. There was some kind of, I don't know. I had the one run where I got to I beat the first boss. I've only played like 3-ish hours of it because I keep cutting myself off. Because I keep going, I don't want to play too far into this and then have them add a bunch of stuff. Even one of their stated like goals for the early access has been like, hey, no matter what we add, like our biggest thing is we don't want anybody to lose any save data or progress or anything like that.
Oh,
so
cool.
like they're like they're trying their damnedest to make sure that like everything will transfer over seamlessly as you go, which is good.
It's funny because, like, and I have seen that the version number of Hades 2 from launch is a much higher version number than Hades 1 was when that went into early access.
Yeah,
but dude, like playing and I haven't played. I've played probably a little less than you. I think I've done like 5 runs right now, but a couple of those were pretty short. Might be more like 6, but it feels like a finished game. And I do know from like they said already that like what's in this build is already more content than Hades 1.
Oh, I believe it.
And I'm almost like, guys, you didn't have to go that hard. Like, I think most people would have been happy with something like on par, right? Just more, this is like a perfect use case for, but she's got a new hat of sequel where it's like, it's more like of that Hades storytelling with that Hades gameplay with new characters, like, sold, right? Like everybody's going to be in for that. And I almost feel like I get why they're wanting to do the early access thing and everything, but it almost feels like they could have just like said like, yo, it's out.
They could have, but I kind of like the way they do this because it worked really well for Hades 1. But now Hades 1 was an interesting case though, because its early access was only available, that I remember, was only available on the Epic Store. Yeah,
because it also launched exclusively like that was like the first Epic
and
exclusive.
Everybody hated the Epic Store, so a lot of people like me just like forgot about it. So it was just like quietly getting tuned over there, and then when it released 1.0, it was everywhere, and I was like, oh yeah, I guess I'll try it. And it was really good, and because people had sat there and gave feedback and been like, oh yeah, we should tweak this. I like reading their like thing that comes up like when you start the game. They were just like, there's stuff like they basically said kind of what you said, but also but there's also a lot of like tuning and stuff that we're trying to do. We want to get things to where there's stuff in here that's not tuned where we want it yet. We don't, because we're trying to find the sweet spot. So that's why we're putting it out here and letting everybody's feedback kind of dictate where we go with it, which I like. I think it's a lot harder than the first game. Like I got to the second part of it and I was like, oh yeah, these guys are taking a lot more hits than the first
they
guys.
felt very spongy in the second. So that was one. So you have your first run where you're kind of supposed to die pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So I don't really count that as the first run.
Right.
My second run, I actually got like all the way to the first boss and lost. And then my third run, I beat the first boss and got really deep into the second area.
Yeah.
I was like, man, that was like an awesome run. And then I haven't been able to get anywhere close to that since.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is definitely a thing that I noticed when I got to that second area. It was like, whoa, this feels like Elysium. Because that's the other thing. And the reason why I haven't finished the Hades is that like, I always think of Elysium and I'm like, man, fuck those chariot enemies. And like those enemies where their souls leave the body afterwards and you have to kill the soul
before they do that. Yeah.
Because they're already pretty damage spongy. And then if you're not paying attention, then they'll just resurrect and you got to do it again. And it's very annoying.
Yeah.
And then cap that off with like bosses that I have just not been able to, figure out.
Minotaur and I forgot the guy's name.
I think it's Theseus.
Theseus, yeah. He's a famous, I knew he's a famous Greek guy, but I couldn't remember what the hell his name was. Yeah, he's those guys are a pain. They're kind of like, are you actually going to be able to do this like and get anywhere? Like they're the test. Like if you can get through them, you're probably going to be all right. But then you never know, you might just fuck up. Sometimes it happens. But yeah, it's good. I haven't got much further than you. I don't even think you probably got deeper into the second area than I did, actually. I got to like some place where like things were popping out of the water and shit. And I was like, yeah, I got nothing on this because I had the knives.
I don't think I did that. So there's an enemy in the first area that I've got no answer for. And that has been my run ender or the impetus for my run ending because I take so much damage, but they're like the shielded version of like the Wailing Women because they'll just lunge forward with this like sonic pulse and like I just eat that. I don't know what to do.
Those guys are tough. Yeah, they are tough. And it's I did figure out eventually that like the one thing that I could do with like the knives or whatever was if you could get their armor off of them. They'll stop. Like if you hit them from long range, they'll freeze. So you can kind of cheese them a little bit with the throwing knife part. And I kind of did that a lot. And the cast goes a long way in stopping them too. Because if you hit them with just a regular one, it'll freeze them in the ground. There's a lot of stuff going on. So it's tough. It's tough to wrap my brain around it all a lot of the time when I play it.
And like Hades 1, I realized that like I rarely am using all of my arsenal. I'm kind of relying on just the attack button and the dash. And like, but in Hades 1, I kind of understood the cast a little bit more because like, okay, yeah, I've got these two like things that I can throw that'll do damage over time or different effects depending on my build, right? That makes more sense to me. Like I don't remember to throw down like the little, the area cast unless I have a build. Like I did get one where it actually did like damage over time. And I was like, okay, now I'm more incentivized to use this. Yep. But then I don't use like my Y button attack. Like I just forget about it.
I use
like,
Y
completely.
so much. Yeah. Like I use a lot of Y. I used a lot of Y in Hades because like I one of my favorite weapons in that one was the shield, and the shield just had like a regular attack, but it also like you could throw the shield like basically Captain America style, and it would bounce off of guys and come back to you. So like that was your build. Like you just threw the shield and just fucked around with that. At least I
really liked the shield in that
great
game.
Yeah,
that was one of my favorites.
I so far I'm liking it a lot though.
One major complaint.
Okay.
Fuck your crafting system.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that to most video games. I am over it. So in Hades 2, they introduced like now there's resources that you can find like in the world when you go out and venture, but like you need tools to collect some of the stuff, and that's going to like let you do this stuff when you get back to base. And I'm like, I don't want to be messing with that.
I actually don't mind that.
It's not Hades 2's fault. It's that I am getting very tired of this.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing about theirs is it's not really a crafting system to me because I hate crafting systems. I don't like them. To me, crafting systems are like you're gonna craft a thing like a bomb, and you're gathering up like resources all the time and you're just doing this. Theirs is more like you found some silver and that's going to make a new weapon at some point, or that's going to go into making this new upgrade that you're going to like. It's usually like permanent things.
That's true.
Yeah. So it's not as bad.
Yeah.
And like you get like a flower or whatever, and then you're like, oh, cool. And then I get back to the base and it's like, oh, hey, you can do this thing now. And I was like, oh, that's neat. That's pretty cool. And it's permanent. It's not like just for this run, you have +5 or whatever. And it's like, okay, I'm never going to use that. That would be annoying. But like theirs are all seem permanent because you're using them for like, what are they, incantations or whatever?
Yeah,
something like that.
At the cauldron.
At the cauldron, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like a permanent thing, which I don't mind. And I actually kind of, at first I was iffy on the tool thing. But after I thought about it, I kind of like it. Because it's kind of like, okay, what I pictured myself like, okay, well, why would they do it that way? I was like, oh, I guess I get it. It's like, okay, I need this resource. So if I need this resource and I need to take this thing for this run so if I find that resource, I have the thing to get it. And stuff like that. So like it gives you incentive to like take different things with you on different runs while you're doing stuff. And so I kind of like that. Like I didn't hate that idea at all. I thought that was pretty cool. It's not like my favorite thing in the world, but it's not bad. Like it's definitely something to like, yeah, I could do one more run because I need more silver to make this thing, or I need more fish or something. I don't know what you need in that game. I haven't got that far into it.
I don't have the fishing rod yet.
Nor do I.
Yeah. Oh, also big ups to the Baldur's Gate 3 narrator for being Hecate. Like that's a lot of fun.
Oh, is that them? Oh, that's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah,
Amelia
that's cool.
Tyler, I think.
Yeah. She's great.
Yeah, I love her.
Yeah, that's awesome.
She is on like my list of like I really want to get on the show one day type thing.
Right.
You know, I'm aiming pretty high on certain things. I actually DM'd Ben Starr earlier this week.
I know I just laughed at that. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, good luck, man. I was like, that'd be cool, but I don't think that's gonna happen.
I told myself that like I wouldn't try to reach for someone that big like until we were more established. But I was looking at his profile and I was like, oh, he's got DMs open. Yeah, I'll shoot my shot.
Yeah, why not?
You know, he and honestly, the reason that I didn't mind doing that with him in particular is that I think he would have an actual blast on here. I think he would like gel with the shit that we're doing so instantly.
It's possible.
All of this mania is like all in his wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Like,
but yeah, it's. Yeah, that I thought that was pretty cool. Why not? You know, why not throw one out there? Anyway, Hades 2, pretty good. I like it. I keep wanting to play more. I did have one thing that kind of was like, okay, maybe this thing needs to cook a little bit longer. Like I got, have you had what's her name? The goddess of the hunt, Artemis, show up in your game? Okay, I had one thing where I went to talk to her and it went to the menu and it like froze, like hard froze, and I couldn't like pick anything, and I was like, oh, that really sucks. And then so I had to like really like go outside of the game to shut it down, like on Steam. And when I did that, I was like, all right, well, where does it put me? And it put me back at the base, and it was pretty far into that run. And I was like, oh, that really kind of sucks. And I was like, yeah, this may need to cook a little longer, but it's showing a lot of fun so far.
I don't think the game, it doesn't save mid-run, right? Like,
no, I don't think it does either. But like for things like that, I kind of wish it would, because like I feel like Hades 1 did, but I could be very, very wrong about that. I feel like it would.
I don't remember.
Like if you quit out of the game, it would save you like in like whatever room you were in, like right before you got to somewhere. I could be way off on that. It's been a little while.
That does sound a little familiar. Yeah, it's hard to say.
Yeah,
like it would be nice if it would at least like. Well, I mean that's still a pretty big ask, but like when you get to a new area, at least, right? Like at least save that,
right? Yeah.
Which, you know, sometimes you're not going to make it to a second area.
Yeah.
That's been my issue.
Yeah,
since I've only been to the second area once.
I feel like it saved you on like the floor before where you went to next or something like that. But it's been a long time since I played Hades 2 or Hades original now.
It did make me want to like go back and play Hades 1.
You should play Hades 1.
Yeah. I think I will. I don't know how much more I'm going to play of Hades 2. Again, it was like, I was curious, and like, I had all that credit left over from No Rest for the Wicked. And I was like, you know what? This will be a fun thing to talk about.
Yeah.
And it was nice to see that it runs perfectly on my laptop.
Yeah.
Like, it's on low settings as far as graphics go, but like it's silky smooth, like, no problems playing it.
I had to,
which I kind of expected because, Hades 1 was kind of tuned to play. It runs on a Switch. Yeah. Right. And I was like, I can't imagine Hades 2 is going to be that much more demanding than the first game, because, it is very much of a piece.
Yeah, for sure. If I had my say of things I would like to see tuned, in that game, I think the default brightness should probably be a little bit brighter. That game is kind of dark. At least for me, it was. And then I turned the brightness up and I was like, okay, now I can see where everything is. So it wasn't too bad.
Yeah. And that damage sponginess of, if the second area is anything, is indicative of the rest of the game, like, seems a bit much.
I feel like that might be what they're going for, but that's not really my jam particularly. Like, and I kind of am with you. I whatever tuning that they had in the first game, I think was perfect between areas. Like, you want the enemies to be a little bit stronger between areas, but like, not insane amounts. But I'm hoping that's not the route that they're trying to go.
Yeah, and specifically, like, it didn't seem to me like, their damage output was too much. It was their damage input that is the problem, where it's just like they're just staying up for days, and it's like, like, I've already proven, like, I already know that I can beat you. It's just I'm having to hammer on this button.
You just got to do it for a while now. Yeah, that's my whole thing too, where I was just like, oh, okay, all right, I guess we're just gonna have to do more stuff. And the last thing is like more of a major thing, I guess, but not really, because I think I see where they're going with it. I just haven't gotten there yet. Is I'm not sure how I feel about the mana system as a whole, because it kind of makes you. I know what they're going for, like I said, but it sort of like makes you not want to press the button sometimes, because you're like, but I only have so much of it, and I don't really have ways for it to come back unless I get kind of lucky. But there is cards and stuff that will like make it to where that stuff will replenish and shit like that. So
it also comes back like from room to room. So you're kind of incentivized to like deplete all of your mana in the current.
Does it come back room to room?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Well, maybe I'm just stupid. Yeah.
I wasn't sure about that, but then also Skelly, or whatever they call him in this one.
He did say something like that, but I was like, maybe that'll be something I have to mess with next time I go back in. But I will agree, the mana system is a little weird and a little like kind of cumbersome, because like there's certain boons. So like one of the boons that you can get from Selune, yeah. You get this really awesome kind of super move, but you only get it after you use a certain amount of mana. Yeah. And like the first couple options, you probably don't even have that much mana. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. But I think that's probably like once you get deeper into the game more Arcana. Once you get more cards and stuff like that. Yeah. I like how that system's shaping out, where like it's like
you have a loadout that you can
put
together.
I was like, that's cool. Yeah, all right, that's awesome. Yeah,
they kind of took the what was it like the gift system from the first game, where you could have like one gift or like two gifts.
That's
like
still
attached
there,
to your character.
That is still there. Yes. You can you can gift people things, and they will be like, here's this thing, and you have a permanent like little boon, whatever the hell that is. Yeah, the gift system stuff.
Yeah.
That's still
cool.
there.
Because I felt that like the card system was like them taking that old system and being like, but here's a more intricate version of it, and you can really pick and choose.
More the mirror. That's like the mirror from the first one, if you remember that.
Right. Okay. Yeah. That right, because you couldn't have like all of those abilities turned on at the same time.
Yeah, you couldn't have. Yeah, you had, and there was like two separate things and stuff like that for the mirror, and you had to kind of pick and choose which ones you wanted to do. This one is just like, it's the same thing, but kind of a more interesting way to do it. At least I think. I thought it was pretty cool.
No, I really like it.
At first, I thought there was only. Oh yeah, you're good.
was gonna say I like the presentation of
Yeah,
it, like
yeah,
the
it's cool.
cards and everything, and the way that like when you turn over a card, like it actually expands the board. And you see like the next card.
I was just gonna say I only thought there was 9 of them for a little bit, and then I got one more. I was like, oh, okay, there's more. All right,
Yeah.
all right. I feel dumb now. That's good. I was worried.
Yeah.
No, it's got some potential. It's seeming like it's going to be really good once it gets completely finished. But I'll probably hop in there and mess with it here and there as I'd please.
Yeah. I think what I'll probably do is once they have like a firm date for like the 1.0, that'll be my cue to finish off Hades. And then, you know, like I'll probably play around with this one as they make updates just to see like what's changing. Cause I do find that fascinating. And maybe I'll like kind of button through the dialogue for now. Just so that
even if you don't feel like finishing Hades 1, you should look up what happens.
But I do want to finish it. Like it's one of those feathers that I want in my cap. Like I want to say that I was able to do it.
I've done it twice. Yeah. It's quite good.
Yeah. Don't you have to do like 10 runs to really like finish it?
You have to finish, I think it's 9 or 10. I can't remember. It might not be that much, actually. I'm trying to think. It might actually be 7. Oh, fuck. No, hold on.
It's a lot, though.
I'll look that up. It's a decent amount that you have to do, but like at a certain point, you start to like kind of recognize what's going to work and what's not going to work. And you start aiming for stuff with the gifts and shit like that. And you're just like, okay, if I get this, I'm pretty unbeatable. And then you start to mess around.
That's a question I have for you on Hades 2. Do you feel that like you're encountering way fewer boons than the first game? I feel that like by the time I get to the first boss, like I'm lucky if I have like 2.
No, that's about on par actually.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, usually
for some reason I'm remembering like having like way more, but I'm probably thinking of like longer runs.
Yeah, I think so. I could be wrong, but actually, if anything, I thought I was getting a lot more than I was in Hades 1 because I think, and if I could be wrong on that, but I don't think so because they even start introducing like Artemis hammers pretty quick. And I remember those like not usually showing up until like the second area most of the time. Sometimes you'd get lucky and they'd show up in Tartarus, but not very often. Now I'm trying to look up how many Hades runs until true ending. It is 10. Okay. Yeah. 15 plus more for the full one. I don't know about all that, but I don't think so. Really it's like 10. 10. 10 is the number. But it's it's good.
Yeah.
All right.
High recommend. Like even if it doesn't hit 1.0 this year, like it's already good enough.
It's already pretty dope.
We're not going to finish it, so it probably won't come into the conversation, but I can already say that like this is like one of those like game of the year contender things. Like it feels already so good and so complete.
It very much could be. Yeah, it could be quite good. It's dope. I would probably, before I put it in the game of the year category, I'd wait till 1.0.
I would too. And that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying that like if we didn't care about like spoiling it for ourselves and played all the way through it to the end, like if you were like, yo, I want to put this in, I was like, I get it.
Yeah,
like
absolutely. It's good. It's good.
Yeah.
I also like the soundtrack. I bought the version with the
soundtrack's very good.
It's very good. Yeah. I love the I forget what the second area's name is. It's like Atlantica or Oceania. That's it. I knew it was like Atlantis themed or some shit. I love the music there, like with the sirens and stuff. That shit's awesome.
There's a new like there's I don't know if there's 2 versions or what's going on, but when you get to Charon, like that track is really good.
That's his old theme remix though. It's really good. Yeah.
I definitely got hints of the old one, but like the first time that I encountered him, I was like, I feel there was a different song that played and that's the one that I was really digging. But I don't know. It's another one of those things where it's like, I'm not sure if like, if I like gaslit myself into thinking there's like more than one theme for him possible. Or what, but
they're doing a lot of bold tracks on there too, like in just remix form. Some of that stuff I'm not as crazy about. Like I have a feeling where the game is going. I think because they've said something and there's stuff in the soundtrack where I'm like, oh, I see what they're doing. That's cool. As opposed to going up as you're doing in Hades, you're going down, and that's cool. And so like at some point you will probably return to an area that was in Hades 1, and the theme there I heard, and I was like, I'm not as crazy about this as I was about the original one, but it's not bad. But yeah, those siren songs are really awesome. Oh man, I haven't seen the boss for the second area, but I heard their music. It's fucking great. I put it in the
I saw you put it in the Discord, and I was like, oh man, he's gotten way further than I have. I just assumed that like that's how you'd heard it.
No, I was just going through the soundtrack. I was like, what's this? And I was like, oh, that's awesome. That's fucking great. I gotta see that for myself now. Stuff like that just makes me go, yeah, I really need to see that because that's fucking cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, Hades 2 seems good.
Yeah.
Seems good.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
Clive Rosfield. Heroic. I made a promise. Noble. We shall all be free of this curse. Angry. Very, very angry. I'll kill you if it's the last thing I do. Clive believes in protections for voice actors, strong unions industry-wide, and getting venture capital out of game dev. The legacy of the corporations has shaped our history for long enough. Paid for by the Cursebreakers Coalition. I tried out a couple other things.
Okay.
That I don't have much to say because I didn't play them much.
Yeah, same here.
First one, and I don't know if you've heard of this, Justin, and if you haven't, I am going to suggest that you look this up while I talk about it.
All right. Let me turn around.
It is called Stories from Seoul, S-O-L, The Gun Dog. And I think this is a PlayStation exclusive.
Oh.
So it might be on Steam. I'm not sure.
All right, hold on. Let's see.
I saw it like as a PlayStation trailer, like on YouTube, which is how I found it. I'm actually gonna wait for you to look it up because it has got a very distinct look that is totally my jam.
It is. Oh, actually, funny story. I think this is on my wish list.
Okay, it is on Steam. Okay.
Yes, it is on Steam. Yes, I do have this on my wish list because
good.
When did I see this game? I know I've seen it. I'm sitting here looking at it. It's very like 90s anime looking.
I would say 80s anime.
Yeah,
like,
old anime. Yeah, old anime.
And I have been missing this exact style of anime art. And I've been wondering like when someone was going to like get nostalgic for it and put it in a game.
Yeah.
It is a old school like point and click adventure game, but it's like a console point and click adventure game. So it actually reminds me a lot of like Shadowgate on the old Nintendo. Because you have like your look, your use, your talk buttons, like that type of thing. And then like a static screen where you're kind of using a cursor to look. Well, not a cursor in this point. Like you just like kind of like D-pad around the screen to look at the important stuff. Yeah,
and it's kind of all in one like color scheme. It's kind of like all green.
That is my only complaint is because they're obviously going for like a hey, remember the old Game Boy?
Yes.
Which is fine if I'm playing it on like a Switch or a Steam Deck, but on an 85-inch television, like it's a little rough on the eyes, but I dig it.
I have a question. Did you play the full game or?
No, it's not out yet.
It's not out yet. Okay. I was just going to say, it seems like the demo's on here. I think I've seen this, and I think it was on the Steam Next Fest.
Yeah, I had posted the trailer in the show Discord, and David Portnoy was saying that he had played it either at Steam Next Fest, or I think he might have seen it at like a con or something like that. And he liked what he had seen. And yeah, so the demo is also available on PlayStation 5 right now. It might be on PS4 as well. But yeah, and I didn't play a lot of it because I was like, okay, I get what this is. Like, this is definitely, something to remember for later. Right. And I have it on my PlayStation wish list. But yeah, it's just got like a really cool old anime vibe. Yes. And I'm kind of curious to see, where it's going and stuff like that. You do have like dialogue choices that you can do. Right. And yeah, it's just kind of a cool thing. Yeah,
it looked really neat. I think I seen it on the Next Fest thing because I just went through all the games at one point and was like, yeah, let's see what these are. And then I remember seeing this one and being like, this looks pretty neat. I'll keep this, put this down.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I got like about 10 minutes in and I was like, oh, Justin needs to be aware of this.
Yeah. Yeah. And I forgot that I was aware of it. God, because of the name. The name is a weird name.
It's not a great name.
It's
the gun dog is the ship that you're stationed on.
Yeah.
The intro is that the Martian colonies and then some other like interstellar colony is at war with like Earth. The Earth Federation or whatever, and they're actually able to push Earth like back to Earth itself. Like they take everything except Earth, right?
Okay.
And you are actually like you start the game and you're in a space mech, right? And you're about to launch on your first battle and you're super nervous, but there's a technical error with your unit, and all of your teammates go out first. And they're trying to get your suits like fixed and everything. They all get annihilated.
I see.
So the battle ends up being won on your side, but you never actually saw combat. And then like 5 years later, you've been stationed on this other ship. And then that's kind of where I got to. I didn't really want to, I didn't want to see more because like, I was like, okay, no, this is the thing I'm going to play.
Yeah. Yeah. It seems neat.
Yeah.
Let's see. I guess, from there, I finished Eiyuden Chronicle. I guess I'll talk about it a little bit. There's not much really else to say. It was good. It was a good game. It ended, and it ended fine.
Did you? It feels like you cooled on it a little bit, like at the end.
Oh no! It was no. Okay. I just finished it like a week ago. So or Sunday. I finished it last Sunday. So
yeah, which means that you've pretty much forgotten it by now because that's what you do.
It's fine. Totally fine. It's good. I would say, let's see, if I had to bitch about anything in that game, it's not really so much bitching.
You don't need to.
some of the mini games, and I think I talked about it the last time. I'm not super high on a lot of the mini games in there. I think they're fine, but there are some of them that I'm like, if I never do this again, it'll be too soon, I guess. It's like the Big Goma thing is like, it's cool that it's there. Every single one of their mini games, I'm like, man, this is a great idea that I'm super happy is in here. I never want to do it again. It's because it's just like long and annoying sometimes. Like the Big Goma one is a lot of work. You have to either get really good at it, which I am not, or you just have to wait till later in the game when you can get the overpowered ones and then use those, or just go fuck yourself because yeah. But
let me ask you, did you get all 100 heroes?
Oh yeah, I got them all. Yeah, I did. I had them all the last time episode we were on. Here.
Okay.
So yeah, there is a old school Suikoden cutoff point that I liked, but I can see other people getting upset about.
Like we said last episode, right? Like they were going for a specific thing, and it's like you should kind of be aware of that going in. And
yes, absolutely. And it's if you want a hint as to where it is, it's if somebody tells you it's the final battle, even if it doesn't feel like the final battle, treat it as though it's the end of the game. That's all I will say.
Yeah. That's like on Fable 3. When they tell you that you've got like this many days left, it's like you don't have that many days left.
No, you actually don't. Yeah, it's basically that kind of thing. But I mean, that being said, you have so much time before then. As long as they give you 20 save slots, you can use them all. Just, if you fuck up and you got to go back, just don't be afraid to. It'd be fine. Mm-hmm. But it's not too bad. The other thing I would complain about this is something I forgot to mention last episode. So Suikoden as a series always had a thing where in every single one of them they had like they're like duels, right? Do you remember any of those?
Yes.
They were like basically rock paper scissors, and they were kind of neat, like, but it was like
I like the idea of them more than the execution.
Yeah, that's always been the thing, right? And they've always tried to find like a way to do them better. And they don't usually pull that off, but like at a certain point in the series, I remember like 4 or 5, they just kind of were just like, they're in here. Just, this is what they are. You know how to do them. It's kind of like rock, paper, scissors with poker tells. It's fine.
Right.
And they're in here too. And they're kind of the same way, but somehow the system to me is like terrible. I hate it. Like, okay, in old Suikoden, it was like, okay, you have, in my memory, this is how it works. I'm sure there was more to it. It was like rock, paper, scissors. There was attack, defense, and then there was like a counter mechanic, or there might have been like an all-out attack. So there might have been 4 things. I can't remember, but certain things beats other certain things. There was always a hard counter to whatever your enemy was doing, right? In this one, there's just attack and defense. That's it. Which one beats what? I don't fucking know.
I don't know if I like the 50-50 mix up.
Yeah, it's kind of 50-50, and it's not real great. It's just like, just figure it out. And you can kind of and you're just kind of like guessing. And then a lot of the animations are like, okay, did I win there? I lost health, but did they maybe lose more health? I don't know.
Right.
I can't really tell. Like, I lost the first duel. It didn't matter. They just shuffled me along. They're just like, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Just keep going. And I was like, good. Cause that was not very good. And then when I got to the next one and died from it, I was like, I think this system kind of sucks. I think it's kind of bad and poorly implemented. All the animations and shit that they do for them are really, really cool. Like, they go all out on that shit and it's awesome looking. Just kind of a shitty system that you're just kind of half guessing on. Even when you know what they're gonna do, it's kind of like, well, I think this is the right call here, but I don't know. The animation wasn't very clear before. It's a little confusing. So and guess what the final encounter is? It's that. Yeah.
That could also leave a bad taste in your mouth, like if that's the last thing that you do.
It's not like the worst thing in the world. Like, I beat it the first try. It was fine. Nothing too bad. But like, I was kind of like, I don't know if you needed to put this here.
Let me ask you this, and I'm not sure if you have an answer to it, but does your like character level factor into it? Like, if you're over leveled, like, is that going to bear out in the duel, or are you pretty
think so.
even? Okay, that's what I
don't think so
about.
Because my characters were overpowered as shit when I got to the end game. I wasn't even like full leveled up, but I had beaten like some hidden boss and stuff like that you had to go through, like the tower mode or whatever the fuck it is. And I was like level 80 something when I got there, which was way too powerful. It was very easy the rest of that game, but fun for that reason, because like I got to like the second to last boss and beat him in one turn. And I was like, okay, yeah, that's good.
I like being rewarded. Like if I'm going to take the time to do everything and like, I kind of want to bust it, right? So like that's why like I'm not complaining about the fact that I steamrolled over the final battle of Unicorn Overlord. I loved it.
That is not a complaint. Yeah, what I just said, I was like, oh no, I was in love that I did that. I like I said, it wasn't even the second to last boss. It was the last boss. Like, I beat them in one turn, now that I think about it. And like, they have like this big fancy animation set going on and shit like that, which I had seen, because it's funny, because in the tower mode you can fight them and it's a harder version of them. So I'd already beat the harder version of them. So I'm like, I think I'm a little too powerful to go into this part, but let's just go finish the game. And then it gives you like a clear data, and I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll go clean up some things, and maybe I'll get all the cards and do a couple other things, and maybe go through the endless mode a little bit. And I started playing a little bit more of it, and I went, why would I do that? I'm not going to do that. There's no point. I'm done. And I turned the game off, and I was like, that was a good game, and I may play it some other time. Who knows? Because I played Suikoden enough times. That's for damn sure. It's really good. It's a really good game. It's just like there's certain little tweaks and things here and there that I think that game going forward, if they are going to make that a series or whatever, if that's what their plan or hope is, that these are the things I would improve upon. And that's
it's also an interesting prospect because, you know, they never made any of these games in the era of we can make changes to the game after the fact, right? So like there is a scenario where like they make some changes that, you know, fundamentally change some things or add content to it, right? Like that you know, who knows? I didn't look into like what all the stretch goals and stuff were. I think that Eiyuden Chronicles Rising was one of the stretch goals.
Rising might have been. I know there's 2 character-focused DLCs, which are the other 2 main characters in there. Like, their DLCs based around their story, I think.
Okay.
I could be wrong about that, but I swear I heard that.
Yeah.
So that might be cool. Although I didn't really like, I mean, those characters are fine, but like, I don't feel like I need to know anything else about them. Like, I'm kind of like, I mean, I could, I mean,
you and I are kind of in the same boat with DLC, which is that usually we're not going to play it because we've moved on.
It comes out so far after the fact that I'm like, I don't want to play that again right now.
Like I did buy the deluxe version of Alan Wake 2 because I was like, no, I definitely want to see all the stuff for Alan Wake 2. But at this point, it's been like, but it's been like 6+ months. By the time the next piece comes out, I'm not sure if I'm going to want to go back, honestly, unless I'm doing like I commit myself to doing a new playthrough. Yeah.
Or if you're me, I always get nervous. Like, am I going to remember how to play that game? Like when I go in there, because it's going to be like because usually it's like it's that, but a little bit harder because you've done all this other stuff. I'm like, I don't remember how to do that stuff though.
That is 100% why I'm playing this new Elden Ring character.
Yeah, no, you're doing it right. Yeah,
because I was like, even though like I steamrolled the game with my strength build on that platinum run. Like, it's been long enough to where I don't know that, like, I have the timing down for any of this shit anymore. And, like, I'm, you know, I've heard, you know, the horror stories of FromSoft DLC where it's like, oh, no, this makes the base game look like tiddlywinks.
Yeah, for sure. But anyway, Eiyuden Chronicles it's a good game. I liked it.
Yeah, I'm glad. You know, again, I definitely want to get to that before the end of the year. But, man, there's so, I actually... I'm starting to get a little nervous with myself because I'm like, oh shit, like I haven't really finished anything I mean, I have, but not very much.
I keep meaning to back into 7, the 7 game, Final Fantasy 7. I keep meaning to go back to that, and I keep meaning to. I definitely am just holstering Yakuza or Like a Dragon. I'm sorry, like
for the lean time.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. It's definitely gonna happen. I keep looking at it and going, I know you're there, but I don't want to do that just yet.
I want to say that June was our like you and me's like kind of soft month. There's definitely
gonna be a month that hits me and I'm just like, okay, it's time to do one of those 2 things. I probably will fit. I've been this whole week, I think I've been like, I should start 7 back up before I forget what's going on in it. Not that it's really that hard to remember, but you know,
my thing is more, well, I know you're on playing on an easier mode, but like the combat, like I'm afraid of like, you know, like forgetting like how to do shit because there's so much in that combat that's easy for me to forget. Even when I'm like, even when I was playing it every day, I was like, man, I'm just not remembering to do this or that.
No, I just put it on easy and have a good time. Yep.
I need to run to the restroom and get a drink and then
you're good, man.
We'll move back, move in. It's the People's Champions Court. The only daytime court drama starring the People's Champion, The Rock. Today, these 2 alpaca-selling brothers are at each other's throats. Will The Rock decide on the plaintiff or the defense? And now, we turn things over to our bailiff, Mankind.
Will the courtroom please rise for the Honorable Judge
The Rock? Finally, The Rock has come back to the courthouse. Counsel, you may call your first witness.
Hi, I'm Gary Grub Thumper. I'm here asking for restitution from my brother Larry for defamation of character. Also, he stole my wife. I just want to sell my alpacas in peace. My name is Larry Grub Thumper. I didn't steal my brother's wife. She chose me of her own volition. I love her very much. I love my brother very much, too. I just want to sell my alpacas. He likes the llamas.
The Rock heard a rumor that you've been tasting another man's pie.
Your Honor.
Objection, Your Honor. Don't make me come over there and stomp a mud hole on you. The Rock says overruled.
Well, yes, Your Honor.
You come to the Rock's courtroom, you come up to the Rock and you tell the Rock, oh, my wife, oh, sir, my llamas and my wife. Let me tell you something about your llamas and your wife. It doesn't matter about your llama and your wife. Now I'm behind the scene with the llama farmers as we await the Rock's judgment.
Look, I love my brother, but I love my wife, too. And I love alpacas. It's really hard to choose. Don't make me choose. We had fun selling the llamas and the alpacas. And now, the Rock's ruling.
The Rock finds in favor of the defendant. The Rock's judgment is that you pay your brother millions and millions of dollars. If you smell what the Rock is ruling.
That's it for this edition of the People's Champions Court. See you next time.
The Rock would like to break for lunch. The Rock is going to have pie. You're going to have strudel.
Well, now that he's gone, now we can really rap. Let's see. Before we were looking up Steam games that were bad and whatnot, let's start with this one that I just seen that I forgot was here, called Dresser Simulator. We can create new hairstyles for customers, and we can cut and dye and style to perfection. And that's the thing we could do. Oh, we can create characters. Oh, there's a robot dog. Okay, this actually looks like an actually kind of good game. I'm kind of, you can clean the windows? Oh, shit. You can paint this floor, son? Look, oh, man. I'm kind of into this. I kind of actually want to play that. But then again, I have to cut hair. As someone who doesn't have hair, kind of jealous of people that have hair. Let's see what other things this company has published. Let's see, Chernobyl Liquidators. Oh, okay. Well, they got some stuff. House Flipper Pets, VR. How does that work? What do you do in that? Okay, it's a VR game. There's pets. You can feed them. Oh, you can feed this cat this fish. Okay, Julian's back. Hold on.
And I have turned my fan on, and this is my note to future self to be sure to do a noise reduction for the rest of the episode to get that shit out of my sound. So
okay.
This is your reminder, future Julian. You do it. You get that shit out of there.
Nah, don't do it. It'll be fine. Nobody will know. You'll just be like, what's that buzz? Shut up. That's what it is.
All right. Well, Justin, before we move on, I think it is a good time to thank some patrons.
Okay.
We appreciate all of our patrons, but we thank our executive producer tier every week. So this week, we have Bookie.
We have Casey Curran.
We have David Portnov.
We have X-Rian.
We have Matt Jorgensen.
We have Philip P.K. Becker.
We have Stephen Lobo.
We have Xavier Krager.
And new follower at the free tier, because I forgot that that's a thing that you can do on Patreon now. Dennis Robertson, welcome to the family.
Oh, the Spurs Center is here. The legendary Spurs Center.
Is that?
No,
Wait.
it's David Robinson.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was about to say, I was like, wait, that doesn't sound right.
His name rhymes with David Robinson. I don't know what you
Yeah.
want from me. Dennis Robertson, welcome to the team.
I lived in Austin, Texas during that time. Like, the Spurs were kind of a big
They
deal
were a
around here,
big
so
deal.
even I know that team.
Yeah, I believe it.
No, yeah, there was somebody who had actually joined the free tier and then like converted over, and I was like, oh, you know what? I just think, thank them when they join. Also, because like I think I don't recognize the name Dennis Robertson as far as like from the old days, so this might be the first brand new person to the stage
welcome
select
to
that's
the
joined the
team,
Patreon.
Dennis, you're doing a good job. I'm sorry.
Oh, I guess Weston also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the team. I'm sorry that I compared your name to legendary Spurs player David Robinson.
But he was really good.
He was really good. That's what I was just getting to. I was like, but he was really good, so I think it's fine.
Yeah, and you're really good. So thank you.
There you go.
As we said at the top of the show, we have been looking over trash games to have y'all vote for on the Patreon for the Suffer Select, which we will do monthly.
Yes, Hairdresser Simulator is not one of them.
Okay.
No, I was looking while you were gone.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. House Flipper Pets is a game that exists. I don't know what it is, but it's in VR. So I don't have VR.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've only got VR for PlayStation, so.
Yeah. How's that doing?
I keep meaning to fire it up, and I keep I love my PSVR too.
Uh-huh.
The issue comes down to the fact that, again, there are way too many high quality, long ass games right now.
Yeah.
And it's like, if I'm going to spend an evening playing, it's like especially now that we have the show and like we have like bigger plans for Game of the Year. Like, I will freely admit that is definitely a factor where it's like, but there's new games that I kind of need to play to be able to talk about them. So, that's kind of a me problem, but it is a me problem. So it is what it is. Because there actually there's a game that came out recently that I really want to check out on PlayStation VR. It's like a fantasy first-person RPG where like the physics look incredible. Where it's
sounds neat.
you can do crazy shit like block like this guy on your left while you're throwing a fireball at the guy on your right.
That's cool. Yeah.
Really cool looking shit. The graphics aren't all that great, but like it's because you're getting like all this like real like nice like VR physics to it. So, I don't mind that trade-off.
Yeah, I just know that PlayStation VR is not selling very well, and they have stopped making new ones because they have a surplus of them already made.
Yeah. We'll talk later about like really dumb decisions that corporations make.
Well, yeah.
Maybe if you're deciding to double down on VR, you should have really good exclusives ready. And continue to have exclusives ready, and also market said exclusives.
Yeah,
it was even like the month that the PlayStation VR came out, it was a little bit hard to find the VR games on the front end of the store.
Yeah, that sounds right. That sounds like something they would do.
Yep. Speaking of things on the PlayStation Store, Justin.
Okay.
I also picked up a new indie game that came out this week called Crow Country.
Crow Country. Okay.
I found out about this listening to an interview with a developer on PlayStation Access's podcast last week.
All right.
And he was kind of saying all the stuff that I kind of wanted to hear. It is a PlayStation 1 inspired survival horror game.
Yeah.
It is fully 3D, but they are trying to emulate a pre-rendered background aesthetic to it.
Yes.
But you actually can like rotate the camera and everything. And I actually think that this is something that you should check out, Justin, because they have made it extremely accessible. Not only do you have multiple control schemes, including like tank controls or full analog.
Yeah.
But there is a mode where you can just do Explorer mode, where it is all about exploring the space, getting the story, reading the files, and solving the puzzles. No combat.
Interesting.
Yes. Now, I don't know if it's still going to have like jump scares and stuff like that in it.
Yeah.
But at least, like, the actual combat part is not there. Which, honestly, I've only played it for about, like, 40 minutes or so.
Uh-huh.
I'm digging the overall vibe. I don't know how I feel about, like, I really like the pre-rendered background aesthetic, even though they're not true pre-rendered backgrounds.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool. I don't know how I feel about the intentionally low polygon, like, character models.
Kind of looks like almost Final Fantasy VII-esque, in how low poly it is.
I was thinking more like they kind of look like Playmobil figures.
Yeah,
like
something
those
like
old
that.
toys.
Yeah.
And, it's definitely a look, and I get it. I think I would have liked something more akin to like if you're going to do that type of thing, like if you're going for more of the PlayStation aesthetic, I would have preferred more of like a Parasite Eve or old Resident Evil like look to the models.
Right.
But, that's more of a taste thing. Now, I have a couple little issues. Well, one is a small issue, and I would like to just say this for consistency, because we've never talked about this on the Stage Select, but I am on record in multiple places, especially the old show, about my love and defense of tank controls in games where you have preset camera angles, right?
Yes.
In my opinion, it is the best way to traverse those types of environments,
Right.
Because the camera angles are going to change at predestined times.
Right.
And you never know like where the camera is going to be faced when the change happens.
Yes.
But if you know that up is always forward, you've got no problem.
Right.
Now, this game does have tank controls, but since it is a fully like 3D camera game where you're actually rotating the camera, actually it doesn't work. Like I don't like playing it that way.
Okay, I was wondering that because it's kind of hard to tell how that works by looking at it. So okay.
The advantage of doing tank controls is that you can do a quick 180 by pressing down and circle, a la like, old Resident Evil games.
Right.
But I think you lose out on a lot of maneuverability since the game is actually fully 3D. So I played it for about 10 minutes with the tank controls, and I was like, no, I can't.
Is that
do
the
this.
only option they have? You don't have another option for it?
You have tank controls on the D-pad, and you have full analog on the left stick.
Oh, so it doesn't have to be tank controls though.
No. Yeah, and that's what I was saying. I played it with tank controls initially, and I was like, no, this isn't working. I switched to the stick, and I was like, this is much better.
I understand now. All right.
It's a nice thing to have since it's such a loving throwback to that era. But because of the structure of the game, it just doesn't work.
You don't need them. Right.
Yeah. It's definitely got like a nice creepy vibe to it. There's a lot of, if you like the type of games where there's weird news clippings and notes left out in the open for people that shouldn't be left out in the open for people, this is your game.
Right.
My big issue so far is with the combat, because they have it, it's very old school, and you can change the button mapping, but like I kept it old school where it's hold R1 to bring your gun up and then press the circle button to fire. And then the X button to reload. Although actually that should be wrong. It should be the X button to fire and the square button to reload. But I'm not gonna
it's
make
close
a big
enough.
thing of it. It's close enough. But they added an aiming element to it, which I don't like.
Yeah, I've seen them aim at the wall and shoot an electrical board and zap some dudes. And
you do get, like bonus damage for like aiming for the head and stuff like that. But I've only been in one fight so far, but I almost died because like
there you go.
In the actual combat, like trying to aim in this cumbersome way, it just doesn't feel right. And I think it's a needless addition to this type of game. And like to me, like Resident Evil and Silent Hill always worked in those old PlayStation 1 games, because it was just ready your gun, press the button to fire. If you're pointing at the enemy, you'll hit or you won't, right? And I wish that they had kind of kept it that simple.
Right.
But it's a minor complaint. I do want to play all the way through it, but it was definitely one of those things where like I finished my first session. I was like, I don't know how I feel about this.
Right.
And mainly it is because of the aiming part. And it's one of those things where it's like, I could see myself putting this on the exploration option.
Gotcha. Yeah. I could
to kind of see everything.
Right. Sounds neat though. Looks okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, I won't talk a lot about this, but really the reason I don't have much to talk about is because Elden Ring grabbed me and will not let me go again.
You like some Elden Ring, so that's good.
Dude, it's so weird too, because I hated it when I first played it.
I know.
And like, I'm actually coming around on things about it that I didn't like before. Like now I'm like, you know what? These environments are pretty cool. Like the first time through, I was like, man, this stuff is lame. But now I'm like, no, this is cool. And like I'm noticing little details, and also just like kind of noticing like just how well put together everything is, like the way that you go from thing to thing, or the way that the game leads you to things.
They're very good at that stuff. They always kind of have been.
I think their level design is some of the best in the business. And I actually
100%.
wonder, especially with their dungeon design, I'm like, how many of the people on the team were really into the first Doom?
Right.
Because that's kind of the vibe that I get from some of the dungeons, just the way that like they wrap around on each other and everything flows in such a way where it's like, no, oh, this is so cool. I can't believe I ended up back here after all of that shit. That's awesome, right? Like that's always such a cool feeling in all of their games. Like, you know, I haven't finished any of their other games, but I have played a fair amount, you know, deal of them, and it's always been that way. Yeah. And like I said, like I think that they have taken the old like 8 and 16-bit design of dungeons and RPGs and mapped them to modern day and done it better than anybody. It's amazing. Like I wish other RPG developers would take a page for this stuff. I do have to say that I had to abandon the build that I was trying to go for. It just didn't work. So what I was trying to do was I was trying to make a Dragoon from Final Fantasy.
Oh, yeah.
Where I was like, it's going to be all pole arms. He's going to be a strength and faith build because I want to do dragon incantations. I found out that the dragon incantations are hella slow and not that useful.
They're tough.
And the pole arms are boring as hell, Justin.
Yeah.
Like, there's not a lot of really fun designs for them. And like, one of the best ones. And also the other thing is like, they tend to not have very good Ashes of War, and also most of them you can't change their Ashes of War.
Right.
And the best one that you can is just the standard lance, which is like the most boring of them all.
Yeah.
But I was trying, like, because I got an Ash of War that's basically a jump attack, and I was like, oh, he's really a Dragoon now. This is cool.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't working, and I was taking so much damage. Like I was just getting like killed in like one hit on most bosses and stuff like that. And I was like, I don't even know if I can make it to Renala and beat her to be able to respec. But I was able to do that on my second try, and he job changed into a paladin. So that's what I'm going for.
Okay.
Still a strength and faith build, but it seems like if you're going strength faith, that's kind of your main avenue.
Yeah, there was, I mean, as far as the dragon incantations, I remember I don't know how much it got patched or anything. There was the one that you could give people Scarlet Rot with, and that was kind of the one that was worth using. Like, you could Scarlet Rot them and just run.
Let them die.
So, you know, that was it. Just lame it out. But that's the only one I remember being really worth using. I'm sure there's other ones that are fine, but I don't remember that game that well. But yeah, it's cool. At least you have a fallback plan. I also didn't do. What?
I'm sorry to interrupt, Mr. Titus.
Hey,
Mr. Ham.
Hey, how you doing,
I heard
buddy?
you talking about Elden Ring, and I felt compelled to come.
Oh, hey, Morgan. How you doing, bud?
That's very nice.
You have any run-ins with the Phantom?
I don't believe so, sir. Everything seems quiet this week. So
that's good.
Knock on wood.
Right.
But I did want to tell you that the ratings came in.
Oh, okay, very good.
All right, good.
Did you want to take that, Morgan?
If you would like me to, sir, I will read the ratings.
Yeah, you should do that, Morgan.
Yeah,
Thank
you should. That'd be good.
Very well. This one is titled It's Me. The writer is General Hannibal of Robots. The review reads as such. The absolute nerve of this show. I was guest, and heavens to Betsy, they were so insulting.
No.
They were nice to me? What? That's annoying. They were funny? Interesting? Like, get a life.
Yeah.
I cannot believe there are shows trying to be entertaining and knowledgeable in 2024.
Yeah, I don't know what we're doing. It's stupid.
I thought we were better than that.
I did too.
I hope this show will get worse, because right now it's entertaining, pleasant, and well made, and that offends and pisses me off.
That's good.
I will continue listening in the hopes that it gets worse.
Okay.
Because as it stands, all that happens is I turn on the show and enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yuck.
It's terrible. Can't have it.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that, Morgan. Wow, you You made it all the way through that.
He did all right.
Yes. Why? What's wrong?
No, nothing.
Oh, nothing. I just, sometimes, let's just say, sometimes you go away for a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know what you mean. So
yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Thank you, Morgan. Why don't you go clean the bathrooms? And I'll talk to you later, buddy.
No, don't clean the bathrooms. There might be things that you know what? Just take the day off, Morgan. It'll be okay. You have a nice day to yourself. You go to the park.
The park?
Yeah, you go to the park. It'll be good. You go to the park and sit on a bench and think about, life, I guess, man. Just think about it.
I suppose I could think about the Daryl Strawberry facts.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, you know what? Yeah, okay, yeah. You go ahead and go do that, Morgan.
Yeah.
Feel free to take the rest of the day off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, sirs. I will see you after the show.
See you then?
Thanks, Morgan.
Yeah.
Wow, I thought for sure he was going to drop dead halfway. Yeah. That was a long review.
It was. Yeah. It was. He made it all the way through, and now he's going to go sit on a bench and think about life. That's good.
Yeah, man, they grow up so fast.
Yeah, that's good. This is good.
Yeah.
This is good.
Thank you to friend of the show Mike Fallick for that review. That was very entertaining.
Oh, that was good.
He probably thought that I forgot about it, but no, I just like to dole them out slowly.
There you go. There you go.
Is that all we have, as far as, stuff we played, Justin?
I guess I'll talk about one last stupid thing that I played. Okay. It's really stupid.
Awesome. I love stupid things.
Yeah, well...
I mean, we made a podcast dedicated to it.
That's true. I played a game that I haven't played in a few years called House Party. Yeah. It's okay. This is tough to explain.
I know that this game kind of took off in a way that it didn't seem like a game of this caliber should have, but it got super popular with Let's Players.
Yes, it did. And that's because it was so, how to explain this game? It was in early access for years. Years and years. When did this come out? I'm trying to think.
I feel like I heard about this thing pre-pandemic.
It had to have been 2017 because it came out when I had a PC, and it was right when I first got a PC. So I think it was about 2017 that it came out. I'm trying to scroll all the way down the news feed now, but I don't think I'm going to get there. But I mean, they've just been patching it, and I think it's in 1.0 now. I think it's out of early access. Let me check real quick. Which is one of the reasons why I wanted to check it out again, because like I said, I haven't played it in forever, and they're still adding stuff to it. Yeah, no, it's not in early access anymore.
Cool.
And it has 2 DLCs that I haven't messed with, and I was looking at the trailer for it, and I was like, what the fuck, man? This this is not that old piece of shit that I played.
Oh, that's cool to hear.
Yeah, the game, it was always kind of an interesting game, right? But it was never
I don't understand what it is.
Okay, so let me try to explain it. It's kind of like a sandbox game where you're just in one house with a bunch of people, and you can kind of do whatever, really. You can just walk around and fuck with everybody, and eventually somebody will punch you or something, and that will be the game, right? Mm-hmm. The other thing you can do is it kind of gets almost like a point and click adventure-y, where you're talking to people and they have things for you to go do. And there's little puzzles that you got to solve. You got to, this person wants you to get them a drink, but you can't get a drink because the guy is guarding all the alcohol. So you have to get him out of the way. And so you have to figure out how to do that. So the way to do that is to get this other guy to fight that guy.
Okay, so kind of getting like a Lucas Games
a little
vibe.
bit, yeah. You there's some stuff like that. You have to figure okay, you have to sober this one guy up. How do you do it? Okay, you got to make coffee for them. How do you make coffee for them? Okay, well there's a cup of coffee over there, but they won't take it because it's cold. So how do you heat it up? Okay, there's a tea steamer. So you dump the coffee in the tea steamer. and you put it on the stove, and then you wait, and then it steams, and then you pour it in the cup again, and then you give it to them, and you trick them into thinking that it has alcohol in it, but it doesn't, and then they're sober magically because it's a video game.
Right.
Stuff like that. That's the game. The annoying part of it has always been, and still is annoying when I'm going back to it, was like sometimes you'll do a quest and it'll just lock you out of shit where you're just like, oh, you did this and now you can't do these 3 or 4 things, because there's a bunch. It's made to be played like a bunch of different times, and I get that. But sometimes you're just like, oh, I fucked that up and now I can't see this whole path over here, unless I restart the whole thing.
Is there like a time progression aspect to it where like if too much time has passed, like
that I know of. That I know of. There might be now, but there wasn't before. You could kind of just infinitely fuck around and do stuff and figure it out. But there's like whole characters and stuff that you can fuck up and miss, like that won't show up if you screw up certain things. I accidentally stumbled into the DLC, like on accident, and then like a person got murdered, and I was like, oh shit. I was like, well, okay. There's a lot of quests that rely on that one person. I may need to start over. And so then I let the DLC play out at the next portion of it. And I was just like, okay, this time I'm just not going to talk to that person. They're just going to stand over there, and that's what they do until I'm ready to do that. And it's kind of like that. It's, when I played through it the first time, so I played through it once when it first came out. It definitely wasn't finished. Then I went back to it like, I don't know, a year or two later, and it was still wasn't finished. They were still working on a lot of stuff, but it had changed a lot. They had added a lot of characters and shit, and or a couple characters anyway. And I was like, okay, this is coming along pretty well. And like you could play it through to almost a conclusion. And now there's like a lot of other stuff you can play as a guy or a girl, whereas before you could just play as a dude. Anyway, the reason this got popular with Let's Players was like at one point, like it's kind of a porn game, but like not really. It's kind of weird. You can just whip your penis out at any time. Like you can just do that.
Okay.
And that's a thing.
Man, that's the dream, isn't it? Like,
and people will react to it. You can just walk around the house naked if you want to. And some people are really excited about that, and some people are not excited about that. You know, you just have to figure that out.
Take that, Baldur's Gate 3. Don't like, nobody reacts if you're naked in that one, right? Like you can just like walk around dong out and nobody cares. That's
true. They might not. I don't actually know. I've never really tried it.
I'm pretty sure, because I haven't done it, but I've seen people like playing around with that, and I don't think that anybody reacts.
Probably not. But this one, to be fair, it's not much of a reaction. They'll just comment once, and then they'll never comment on it again. So that's pretty much it. But yeah, there's like the Game Grumps are in there. I don't know how to get them into the house yet. I haven't figured that out. I figured out how to get Doja Cat there. I can do that. She's in the game. She's a DLC. I don't know who that is, but
I know the name, and that's all.
Yeah. That's it for me. There's some other girl who's like a cosplayer that's in there. She'll ring the doorbell and talk to you. And that's House Party.
I was just about to say how pandering that is, but I can't even like say that with a straight face, because Adam Bradbury in our Discord put the trailer for the new Earth Defense Force game in, and I was like, okay, this is pretty cute. And then at the end, like it shows that like you can get these like holographic like distraction tools to like, you know, draw enemies to it. Yeah, and two of them, or it's like 3 of the HoloLive EN girls, and one of them is Galgora, who's one of my favorites. And I was like, okay, I'm sold. This one, I think, while it was in early access, they had like a Patreon or something like that, and if you gave them certain amounts of money, you could get yourself into the game or something like that. And I think the Game Grumps did that, and that's why they're in there. And I think that might have been why some of the other characters there. I'm not actually sure. Yeah, I just assumed that they put Game Grumps in there because they were definitely one of the bigger. They were definitely one of the bigger ones, and that might have been it too. I don't honestly know, but because honestly, the only thing that I know about this game is how's it going, dude.
Oh yeah, good old Frank. Frank's the guy guarding all the alcohol, and if he sees you drinking, he will beat you up. So you have to get him There's also combat in the game, which was hilarious. That wasn't in it in the original version of it. They added that afterwards. You can fight Frank if you want. You will lose, but you can do it. It's fun. It's a neat little game. I every now and then I'm like, I should boot it back up again. I always like mess around for an hour or two, get frustrated with something and then turn it off. But I'm always like, I really just should go look up a guide and just see the story paths, because that's how I had fun with it the first time. Because usually when kind of like, okay, don't do this yet, but and this is okay to do because you get these things are open to you and all that stuff. That's kind of how I enjoy that game. But I don't know. It's one of those things that I feel like if you look at it, you'll know if you're going to like it or not. The production value of it certainly has gone up. There's like a whole opening cutscene now. Fucking crazy. You used to just start off in the house and there was this annoying song that played. I swear the last version I played, there was some way to get the music to change, and now I can't remember how to do it, and it's driving me crazy. Because I feel like maybe I just imagined that. But yeah, House Party, it exists. You can play it.
Ringing endorsement.
Yeah, I mean that's really it. Yeah, I mean I'll probably fuck with it again at some point. That's really all I played. I guess I played 1 hour of this other game called Chrono Arc, which is a weird card game. It's like a Slay the Spire kind of thing, but like not really. It's neat. It has cool art and a good soundtrack, but I only played it for 45 minutes and kind of fell off, so that's about all I can really tell you about it.
That kind of says all you need to say, right?
Apparently it's really good. Every review I looked up said it just takes a lot of time to really get into the good stuff for the game, and I was like, I could see that, like I could see the potential in it. I just wasn't in the mood for it at the time. This was the day after I finished Eiyuden Chronicle. Like, oh no, the day I did finish Eiyuden Chronicle, that I was like, yeah, let's give this thing a shot to try to find something to do. And I was just like, yeah, not this right now. This isn't this isn't for me right now.
Yeah, maybe later.
Maybe later. It's there. It's there.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
Hi, y'all. My name's Joel, and I'm seeking the Republican nomination. Let me tell you a story. Someone's wronged you, and you justifiably want to murder them. But before you can do that, you're going to have to spend hours sneaking around their camp, killing all their friends before you can get justice for yourself. That's a lot of work. And then you have to be prepared for one of those people's friends coming after you for revenge. If elected, I'll make revenge murder easier. No more skulking about, no more having to kill people you don't need to, even if it's a hell of a lot of fun. Vote Joel for a return to simpler revenge times. Ladies and gentlemen, give your warmest applause to our musical guest of the evening, the wonderful Megan McDuffie, performing her song, Twisted.
Taking my time, 'cause it feels right going slow. Coming through your veins like a freight train out of control. Oh, when it feels good, and I never wanna let you go. Does it taste good? I need you to let me know.
Mother don't know why I'm twisted. Mother don't know why I feel
Just let me take you away.
Mother don't know why I'm twisted. Mother don't know why I feed.
Slander my addictions.
Mother don't know what I've tasted. Mother don't know why I need. Mother don't know why I'm twisted. Mother don't know why I feed. Mother don't know why I'm cheating. Mother don't know why I need.
All right. Thank you, Megan McDuffie. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Once again, check the link to her GoFundMe in the show notes and give her a hand. I thought it was a good time to bring her back out on stage, just to, like, if you forgot, if our theme song wasn't enough to convince you, hopefully that will, right?
Yeah, right. Julian, we've done that. Maybe we should. I got him to come back.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, I got him to come back. I got Sherwin Williams to come back.
He's here?
Yeah, no, he's here.
In the building?
Yeah, no, he's back. He's
okay.
He's fine. He seems fine.
Okay,
now.
All right.
Seems okay.
Yeah, I was worried.
So I guess now it's time to
Ask Sherwin Williams.
Okay.
Hi,
Mr. Williams.
how you doing?
I'm good. I wanted to apologize profusely for the behavior of our listeners last time.
It's okay. It's okay.
Okay.
These things happen. We can't control everything, Julian, but we can control paint. We can control that.
But yeah. I guess so. I mean, sometimes the paint gets away from you, and
well, you got to use some masking tape, which we do sell.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
I guess you have everything for a paint job.
We have everything for a paint job, let me tell you.
Yeah, that's good to know.
So what if people want to
Ask Sherwin Williams.
Yeah, we've had some questions build up. Thankfully, much kinder than last time.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
I think this will go nicely.
I think this will go good. I've been looking forward to this, actually.
I'm glad.
Yeah,
maybe we can answer some really informative, like, Sherwin Williams questions and heal.
Right. That's good. That's good.
Yeah. All right. Well, first up, we have anyone2643 in our Discord,
right,
who says, "Hey, Sherwin, what are your top colors?"
Top colors. Oh, let me tell you. Right now, listen, it's impossible, Julian, to name your favorite colors. It's really just not possible for me.
Yeah, I feel like for
all.
you in particular, it's like being forced to choose your favorite child.
Yeah, top colors. Oh man, but right now, it's more of a mood thing. I'm really into green, just green, just plain green, just no other green, no emerald green, no mint green, just green. I just
making those fat stacks over there these days. Is that?
Yeah. And I'm also a lot of yellow. I'm into yellow right now.
Okay.
A pale yellow, put it in your kitchen, make it look like it's the 70s again, Yeah, it's a good vibe. It's a good vibe.
Yeah.
pinks are big. You paint a bedroom pink. A lot of good feeling there. Valentine's Day is coming up.
I guess you can. In a way, you can. In a way, isn't Valentine's Day always coming up?
Yeah, I mean it is. Okay.
Oh, that's staying in.
I don't know. What do you mean? What do you mean?
All right. This next one comes to us from Case Monster.
Okay.
On our Discord.
That's a strange name to have. Like, it's weird, really weird. I don't really understand.
I remember you saying that you don't know the internet very well. This is just kind of how it is, though.
Oh,
Sherwin.
okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah, this is just how people be.
I'll take your word for it. Okay.
Yeah. Case Monster says, "Hey Sherwin, do you prefer Microsoft Paint or Mario Paint?"
Well, neither of them are really paint, you see. But if I had to pick, I'm more of a Microsoft Paint fan. You can make some nice logos on that. They even have a tool that's like a paint can, and you can dump it all in there, and it'll paint the whole thing. It's wild.
I have a feeling that's probably all you ever do on Microsoft Paint. Is just like do the paint can tool.
Yeah, I do a lot of paint can tool, and I just go, wow, look at that orange. That's what I do. It's
that happy orange.
And I just breathe, I do a lot of breathing, and then I look at the paint colors. That's what I do. It's the whole thing.
Yeah, that's nice.
It's nice. But Mario Paint's there too. But it had that thing, I don't remember it well because I don't play the video games. But my nephew, he had it, and there he was like, look at this, Uncle Sherwin, and he was like, look, there you can be a fly swatter and you can hit the flies, and I was like, that's blasphemy. It's clearly the devil's involved in this. I took it back. So yeah, not a big fan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. We'll. I don't really want. Yeah. Okay. We'll move on.
Yeah.
Next up, we have David Portnoff.
Okay.
Who says, "Hey Sherwin, when was the last time you showed a man?"
Oh. I guess today. I showed a man some paint.
Okay.
Yeah. I was like, look at this paint, and they were like, "This is good paint, Sherwin." I was like, "You're right." Because I know my paint is top quality, so I'll show a man a paint. This isn't like a dirty reference of any kind, is it?
I actually don't know. Okay. My co-host Justin, who he brought you to the studio,
right?
He says it a lot, and I've just kind of rolled with it the whole time. And at this point, I'm too afraid to ask.
I feel like it's an inside joke that nobody but him understands, but that's okay.
You might be right. That is very much, that is so Justin.
That's him. I like him. Yeah. He's a little rascal, that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this next one comes to us from email, from Mace Casas.
Okay.
Who says, I'd like to ask what Sherwin Williams' favorite movie and Ninja Turtle is. Oh. Would you change their color dynamic?
Favorite movie is, I don't really watch movies. I've heard that the Passion of the Christ is very good. It probably wouldn't be that.
I thought for sure it would have been The Color Purple.
Oh yeah. That's a good, that's a good movie. It's about colors. There's no real good movies about painting though, that I can think of, as far as Ninja Turtles, I'm very unfamiliar with them. But they all have names of painters.
This is true.
Yeah. So who painted the 16th Chapel? That was the
16th Chapel.
Yeah, the 16th one. That one.
I think that was Michelangelo.
Oh yeah. Well, he'd be my favorite then.
Okay. Yeah. He got all that practice on the other 15 chapels, and that 16th one was fucking incredible.
Yep. That's it. That's it. Exactly. He nailed it.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right. Next up, going back to our Discord,
Okay.
we have Exrian, definitely a different person, not the same at all.
Okay.
He says, where did you grow up, Sherwin Williams? Listening to your answers to Mr. Jorgensen, I can tell you got some hood in you. Definitely painted a different picture of you in my head.
That's strange. I don't know where he would have gotten that impression. That's strange. The other day, I was at my local 7-Eleven, and I was sharing a malt beverage with my friend the Dutch boy. We were sitting on the bench, and we had both kept it in the paper bag, and we were having ourselves a nice drink on a nice sunny day, and we said, this place has come a long way, and we both smiled, and then we went down the road and we drank some more. There was a police officer there, and he waved hello, and we waved back. We were both maybe a little intoxicated, but it's beside the point. Anyway, I forgot what the question was. We should move on.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
I think you said enough on that one. Next up, we have Xavier, who says, so is this like a Subway from Community scenario? Do you agree to legally give up your own identity and live your life as a 24/7 representative? What can you tell us about your shady ass past? Can you fall in love? Can you go to a music festival? Also, why is your paint so thick, increasing the price but ultimately clumping so much more? Valspar for life.
Oh, well, that's funny. Valspar is very nice. They make good paint, but it's not as good as ours. But it's good paint. I can understand why one would be a fan of that. Now, as far as the other thing, you might have to read that again for me. What was the first part was what was it? Something about. Go ahead and read it again. Just remind me.
Yeah,
I'll
sure.
stop you. There's a lot.
So is this like a Subway from Community scenario?
I don't know what that is.
It's a show. It's a TV show.
All right.
I don't know the reference either because I didn't watch it.
Okay. Yeah. Nobody did.
Did you agree to legally give up your own identity and live your life as a 24/7 representative?
Oh no, I am Sherwin Williams. That's a stupid question, but there are no stupid questions, but some are a little less smart than others. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what can you tell us about your shady ass past?
Shady past. I don't know what he's talking about. It's wild. It's wild.
Can you fall in love? Can love bloom at the Sherwin Williams store?
Absolutely. Do you know how many times I see a red and just go, oh my God, head over heels for this red. You seeing this red? This one's got a mixture of pink in it. It's crazy. It's a little lighter. It's like a maroon, but it's not a maroon, Julian. It's insane. The things they do with color these days. I'm in love 24/7. I'm head over heels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice to meet someone who really appreciates their product.
Right. That's right. Really do.
Yeah. And he also asks, can you go to a music festival?
I mean, yeah. Yeah. Why wouldn't I be able to do that?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you're a person, so if you want to go to a music festival, you can go to a music festival. Yeah.
Go to a Kirk Franklin concert anytime I want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know who that is, but you can go there.
People know who he is.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then lastly, we have Matt returning, who says, hey, Sherwin, why you got to threaten me with your paint shop thuggery? What are you overcompensating for, huh?
That's why a motherfucker didn't show up. Where are you at? I was here. I never left. Ain't nobody.
You actually did leave. You left for a couple weeks.
No. I was there. He motherfucker know where I'm at. He knows where I'm at. I ain't go nowhere. Why ain't you show up, Matt? Where you at? Where you hiding? Get your mail, player. That's all I'm gonna say. Get your mail. You gotta get your mail sometime. Come on here. Think we ain't got these paint guns for your ass. You better believe we got these paint guns for your ass, motherfucker. Me and the Dutch boy gonna roll up on that ass. Better believe that shit. Stay hiding. Stay hiding. Stay hiding, motherfucker. Ain't no way threatening this. A promise, motherfucker. We could show up at your neighborhood local Sherwin Williams. I can't even talk right. This bullshit. Motherfucker piss me off, man. Think I am. Some bull ass shit. I gotta go.
Yeah, yeah, that was our last question. Thank you, Sherwin, for your time.
Yeah, no, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Very welcome.
Just take some deep breaths, walk it off. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm gonna, I gotta go talk to the Dutch boy. I gotta go talk to some other people, the Sherwin Williams Tough Boys, and we're gonna go have a nice malt beverage somewhere, and it's gonna be okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll see you next time.
Okay.
Oh,
what happened there?
Hold on.
Ask Sherwin Williams.
I played two of them at the same time. It's fine. He's gone. He left.
Okay.
It was, that was a send off. Yeah, it's a MIDI pad, so if you don't hit it just right, sometimes it does that. Whoops. Oh well. I mean, he doesn't know the technology. He was a little upset. He
got a little heated again at the end.
A little heated at the end, but that's okay. Yeah. It's okay.
Yeah.
He not as bad as last time. I don't think.
Not as bad as last time.
He wasn't slamming things.
I saw we had one kind of aggressive question, and I saved it for the end because I didn't want to put him in a bad space like right at the beginning.
Yeah, that's probably good. That's probably good. That's probably for the best, So, yeah. No, I feel like it went well. He was breathing fairly normally. He isn't playing any Onyx on his way out of here, so it's okay. So I think we're in good shape. Yeah,
I understood that reference.
It's good. Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, thank you again to Sherwin Williams for stopping by. We always appreciate him visiting.
He kept saying something about Valentine's Day on his way out. I don't really know what that was all about, but what are you going to do?
Yeah, I don't want to. Yeah. It's fine.
Yeah.
So I was I've been thinking about this all week because some shit went down in the video game industry, and it's definitely a news thing.
Oh, they announced Hi-Fi Rush 2.
The opposite of that, actually.
Yeah, that's sad.
I was going to say that, just like Nerds Without Pants, we didn't make the State Select to be we wanted to be like a evergreen type show where we don't date ourselves or whatever. But the thing about the State Select is that it's kind of a platform for us to do kind of whatever, whenever, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I got some shit to say about this. So we're going to say some shit about this.
Okay.
So it was announced this week that Microsoft closed Arcane Austin, Tango Gameworks, and a couple support studios that one of them worked on the mobile Doom game, and the other was more
game.
They were like the remnants of Human Head Entertainment, but
oh boy,
I think they hadn't really done anything yet.
Probably
they kind of
not.
they had ended Human Head and rolled into this other thing, and I don't know what they were actually doing.
Yeah.
So they're not as big a deal. Not to diminish them getting laid off by any means.
No. It's still bad, but yeah.
But the heavy hitters are definitely Arcane, Austin, and Tango Gameworks.
Yeah. Tango being the surprise for me. Arcane Austin, I'm like, yeah, that I can see that one. Tango's kind of a surprise for me. But maybe I'm alone on that.
No, I think I'm alone in not being surprised.
Yeah.
And so there's things that I want to say, and they're not going to be popular things.
That's fine.
But this is definitely one of those situations, and I say this all the time, where multiple things can be true at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So and let me preface this by saying Tango Gameworks, I love their games. I loved Hi-Fi Rush. I loved Ghostwire Tokyo. Evil Within 2 is one of my favorite horror games, period.
Yeah.
Right? But Tango Gameworks is the last in a long line of failure. Not critical failure.
Yeah.
Not fan failure.
Yeah.
Sales failure.
Right.
Tango Gameworks never had I don't know how Hi-Fi Rush did, because it's hard to that's a thing we'll get to a little later, is that it's very difficult to now quantify
the tough one.
Success.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And we'll put a pin in that because we're definitely coming back to that.
Yeah.
But Ghostwire Tokyo didn't sell.
No, Ghostwire
Evil
Tokyo,
Within
yeah.
2 didn't sell at all.
Right.
Evil Within, I think, did decently. It did well enough to warrant the
Probably,
sequel, but
yeah.
still didn't like set the world on fire.
Right.
But Tango also, if you remember, was formed by Shinji Mikami, who used to be at Platinum.
Yes.
Who also ain't had very many hits.
Yeah. Who also left, they left before or slightly after that game's release, Hi-Fi Rush or whatever. They
left right
gone.
after Hi-Fi Rush.
Yeah, right after
Shinji left, yeah. But Platinum Games is also spun off from Clover Studios within Capcom. Also,
yeah,
really great games,
right?
No hits.
Yeah.
So, like...
Well, they had Nier Automata.
Oh, well, I'm sorry, yes. And that's what I said. Like, Platinum has not had very many hits.
Yeah, not
They've
very
had
many.
way more misses.
Yes,
than actual like sales hit. And I would say that Nier is probably far and away like their best selling game.
Right. But then again, that's also a Square Enix thing, so they don't really own it. A lot of their hits they don't own. That's the weirdest part.
And you know, like there's kind of a reason why, you know, they made a Ninja Turtles game and a Transformers game and a Korra game because like that was the only thing keeping the lights on over there, right?
There were guns for hire for a little while there.
Yes. And again,
some kind of are.
I'm not taking anything away from the quality of their games. They have always, you know, through all of these iterations, they have made incredible games that have been like cult classics and always very well reviewed that just do not click with the public, the public at large and don't sell very well. Right. Same thing, unfortunately, with Tango Gameworks.
Yeah.
And then Arcane Austin, like, okay, yes, obviously Redfall was a debacle, you know.
Yes.
But you know what else didn't sell?
Prey.
Yeah. You know what else didn't sell?
Yeah.
Deathloop, which they didn't make, but it's still it's
no, that was Leon. That's a different
one.
Right,
but it's you know, it's all kind of interconnected. You know what else didn't sell? Dishonored 2. Dishonored 2 was like a colossal flop.
That wasn't Arcane Austin though. That was Leon.
No. But what I'm saying is but it's I'm saying that like
kind
Arcane
of,
as a whole.
Yeah, but it would be different if they shut all of Arcane down. You would have your argument there. But
Sure.
We're talking about Austin, which only had like.
But Austin did work on like Dishonored, and I think
sure
they did do like some support stuff for Deathloop.
I'm actually kind of curious.
I know they for sure worked on Dishonored 1. I don't know how much they worked on Dishonored 2. I think they might have done the DLC.
They might have done Death of the Outsider or whatever that was.
Yeah. But my point is that like very critically acclaimed games, you know, very well regarded by the people who played them. Not a lot of people played them, right? So from a business standpoint, I understand like why they got closed, right? And I guess that was my thing is that like every time that I heard people talking about this, they were like, how can you close these successful studios? And I'm like, because they weren't successful. But again, multiple things can be true.
Yeah.
Justin.
And this is where that gets complicated, right?
This is where that gets complicated because yes, you know, these studios may not be putting out games that are selling very well. And in the case of Arcane Austin, they had a very public failure, right?
Yes.
But especially coming out of this massive acquisition where you actually said like in court that you're not buying studios, you know, to limit competition and to basically like keep things from like the rest of the industry. It is a terrible look to, you know, close studios, especially studios that are very well regarded among the fans. And for the most part, Redfall notwithstanding, make games that are at least critically acclaimed, right? They may not like set the world on fire with their sales, but they are very well regarded games.
Right.
And in the case of Hi-Fi Rush, you know, it's really hard to know how successful that game was because it was released on Game Pass.
Yes, which is where this whole thing gets complicated because I no longer know what the hell same difference, Microsoft is really doing with that stuff because from what I always thought that their goal was, and I always remember you making that argument, well, these studios don't sell. And I would always argue back, well, it doesn't really matter. That's not really it doesn't feel like that's what they were going for, right?
Right.
It was like we need games for Game Pass.
Prestige games.
They wanted these prestige games. Even if they don't sell well, it's like all you need is that word of mouth and like, hey, this won some awards over here. And like, hey, you can play it for free on this thing that we have. It's cool, right?
And let's be fair. Microsoft wanted Bethesda. It's just,
Yes.
Tango and Arcane
these
came along
with it. Right.
Yes.
Exactly. So, and it's almost like icing on the cake at that point.
Yes.
So you're getting these Game Pass things for not for free, obviously. There's money involved, but like you're getting almost the exact thing you want from something like a Hi-Fi Rush. Redfall, sure, it didn't pan out and kind of made you look bad. I actually can kind of see, like, if they would have just been like, okay, Arcane Austin's closing, I'd have been like, that sucks because it's not good when anybody, like, I feel like they deserved another chance because people really did like Prey. And I bet if they made a Prey 2, people would be hyped for that. And if you have that on Game Pass, people would have been into that. Like, that's like the perfect kind of Game Pass game, right? But like, I don't know what they're going for now. Like,
and I think this week, I have been giving Phil Spencer in particular, like the benefit of every doubt for years, right? Like, I am on record on Nerds Without Pants being like, no, I like this guy's vibe. Because here's the thing, right? Is that coming off of like the Don Matrick, shit show at the beginning of the Xbox One, Phil Spencer taking the ship, like he did a lot of the things that like made a lot of sense at the time, right? And I will credit him with like, I started last generation being all in on PS4, and by the end, like Xbox was my go-to platform, right? And a big part of that was Game Pass. A big part of that was the Xbox One X, like that was the shot in the arm that console needed. Mm-hmm. And then like it was like, okay, we don't really have like a lot in the way of IP these days.
Right.
Let's buy some new studios and get new IP. And at the time, my thinking was, okay, yes, that's what you need. And if you have a thing like Game Pass, you want to have some really banging exclusives to get people on Game Pass.
And it took them some time to get there because obviously they just bought this stuff and people were freaking like, oh, they're just not putting anything. It's like, yeah, it takes time to make games. Give them a little bit. And we were just starting to kind of see that, come to fruition now. Yeah.
Now it is a bummer that some of the high profile ones, a la Redfall and Starfield, didn't hit the way that they wanted them to. But here's the thing with Starfield, though, is that even though it is now considered like a lackluster game among like the general consensus, that game sold really well and reviewed really well. Yeah. So, now it's not going to sell Skyrim numbers, but nothing's going to sell
Skyrim numbers except for the next Elder Scrolls, maybe. Maybe, if you're lucky.
I feel that Starfield is actually like a success, by for the most metrics.
Part, yeah.
But the thing that always threw me off about Game Pass, and I was having a really good conversation with my friend at work, Kale, about this, is that it reminded me of something that CM Punk said when the WWE Network came out.
Right.
And he was like, I don't get it because, the people who are going to get this network are like the hardcore fans. Mm-hmm. And now they're just getting the pay-per-views for $10 a month when those were the people that were going to pay for the pay-per-views. Right. Right. Like and we get a cut of the pay-per-view ticket, like, the main eventers. And it's like, where's the money? Yeah. Right. And when Microsoft said, yo, all of our exclusives, all of our first party stuff, day one on Game Pass, I was like, that's a mistake. Yeah. I get it at the time because, man, they needed to gain some ground.
They're trying to make it. They're trying to make it a Netflix. They're trying to make Netflix for games, and that's real. And sadly, that's really the only way that you can do something like that.
But Netflix, Netflix has their own stuff.
No, they have their own stuff. That's what I mean. Yeah,
right.
That's their big stuff.
As far as like other movies, right? Like Netflix isn't getting them.
Oh yeah, no, they're not. Getting,
when it comes out,
your Marvel stuff or anything like that. I mean, they never. Disney did its own thing, but
right. Before that, they would get it after the fact. Yeah,
they did. But they were never getting that until after it was like somewhat popular, right? But yeah. And a lot of stuff nowadays is like that. Unless it's like a lesser known indie thing, then sometimes it'll be day one on there. But yeah, a lot of the times, to me, that's the only way you could do it. Because if you didn't have that, then it's like, well, why would I get it if I have to wait months for this? Then I don't know. It's tough.
I think at the time it was the right move to like get people in initially. Flash forward to now, where they're closing studios because, and we'll get into the reasonings because it's bonkers, but. kind of them saying like, oh, well, and I did see a really good explanation for this, and it makes sense. That kind of what's happening is that Microsoft as the overlord didn't really give a shit about the Xbox division because Xbox was kind of over here doing its thing and it wasn't really a big impact on the bottom line.
Right.
Then Xbox goes and pays $70 billion for Activision Blizzard.
Yeah, sure did.
And so Microsoft is like, yo, you got to start like, you got to do something to like make up for this.
That was kind of the thing when I remember when that happened. I was like, that's cool for them, but I have a bad feeling about some of these other smaller studios that they have because now they have this big thing that people are going to be real into and want to have stuff for and from, and stuff like, you know, this is just going to be like something nobody cares about.
Yeah, I've definitely got thoughts about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it seems like they're like, okay, no, you got to like cut some costs or do this or that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like Microsoft is the first $1 trillion corporation. So it doesn't really wash, right?
Yeah.
It's like you can take that 70 billion hit like nothing, and you know that you're going to recoup stuff over time.
Yeah.
So my feeling is that if you were, because one of the big things they've been talking about is that like Game Pass subscriptions are down, right? And it's because you've kind of reached like the threshold, right?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
But at the same time, they still have a software problem. We are only now starting to get the games from those first acquisitions, like around 2020 or so, right? And it's kind of shitty that, because now it seems like, wait, did they only buy these studios to get like a one and done? Like they get the one game that the studio was already working on and then dump them? Because like that's no way to operate.
No, doesn't seem like it's going to be a real feasible method to continue going. I think the only thing that would really like increase Game Pass subscriptions dramatically is if you make a new Call of Duty, and sadly that's the one thing. Like, look, I love video games. I don't care about Call of Duty. Guess what? My opinion doesn't matter. Other people fucking love that shit. It sells a fucking shit zillion copies every time they come out.
I'm surprised that it still hasn't, like, I thought by now it would have diminished.
People still buy it. It's that in sports games. It has 100%
become the Madden of action games.
Yeah, absolutely. People will buy it and all they'll do is bitch about it. They'll be like, this one sucks, but they'll still buy the one next year because that's just the type of people that buy these games. And if you're one of them, that's fine. I don't care. I'm just saying it's just a thing that happens that like, it doesn't matter whether you agree with it, like it, dislike it, doesn't matter. It's what fucking happens. It is like, have a conversation with somebody that doesn't really give a shit about video games. And I guarantee they probably play Call of Duty at some point and probably play the new one. There's a guy I work with, didn't even know he played video games. And all of a sudden he was just like, yeah, this reminds me of playing Call of Duty. And that's what I do. And that's why I got new internet. And I was like, I would have never thought you fucking played video games in a million years.
Also, what at work reminded him of Call of Duty?
I can't remember. No, I think it was, I think I'm exaggerating the conversation. I think all it was he got new internet because he was tired of dying in Call of Duty because of it or something like that. And I was like, I didn't realize you played that. Okay. All right. Yeah. I didn't even think you knew what a video game was. Not sure why I thought that, but yeah, people play Call of Duty. They do.
Yeah.
If you put that on Game Pass and said, hey, you can play the new Call of Duty for free if you get this thing, also you get all this stuff, that would probably increase it. But I think if I remember right, they can't do that.
Well, are you saying make it an exclusive?
No, they can't do that. I know they can't do that.
They said they wouldn't. That's part of the deal.
But if you put it on Game Pass and said, hey, if you get a Game Pass subscription, it's free with the, it comes with the subscription.
It's in the subscription, yeah.
I'm not sure if they can do that or not, but that would, that's a reason to get Game Pass. I
fully expect that to be this year's Call of Duty. Like I expect that to be on Game Pass.
Yeah.
No, and I think that like that's one of the things, right? Is that obviously Xbox's goal is to kind of divest themselves of the hardware part of the market and just become, to go back to more of a software thing, right? Like they don't care where you play, right? As long as you have Game Pass, and that's fine.
Yes.
My other thing, the thing that I think that would work, this isn't going to. Well, it's so there's two things that have to happen. One is a slower thing than the other, and unfortunately, I guess the slower thing would have to happen first. You need more killer software that makes people give a shit about getting on Game Pass, right? That has to happen. And, unfortunately, Starfield was supposed to be that. I think it was for a little bit, but then people played it and they're like, okay, I got my fun and I'm going to
It's not Fallout or Bethesda or Elder Scrolls. I almost called it Bethesda Scrolls. Close enough.
Sure.
It's not that. So people aren't, that's what people want out of that studio. They can make all the new IP they want. And it's cool that they got to, and I'm glad they did. It was a neat game. It didn't quite click as well as those things do. That's all people want. And it sucks, but it's true.
Yeah. But to me, if they're worried about money, then they need to go back to like the first parties are going to be not on Game Pass day one, right? Like
they could try that. Yeah.
And that's the thing that I like that would have pissed people off, but it would have gone down a lot easier than what they did instead, which is,
also,
close some beloved studios.
At that point though, if you do that, then people like me are going, okay, well, I don't need this anymore. Cause I guarantee you I would just get rid of that if that's what they did.
Would you though? Because I'm not playing
it?
Most of the stuff that I play on Game Pass is not the big exclusives.
It's a lot of little indie games, but a lot of that stuff I would just go out and buy. Personally, I'd just be like, oh yeah, I was gonna play that anyway, so I'll just buy it. It's fine because a lot of them aren't very expensive.
That's fair.
You know what I mean? Like it's and I'd rather support that developer who's probably struggling to fucking make rent or whatever the hell. That's how I imagine every indie developer. They're probably fine.
Yeah. Well, as I understand it, like they get a pretty
they get a good chunk from Game Pass, and God bless them. That's great. But like at the same time, I just go, yeah, okay, I really don't need this then. Like there are some like small weird games that are like older weird games that come out on Game Pass, and most of the time I'm not really that interested in those. Like it'll be.
Let's be fair. You are an extreme edge case because you the stuff that you play the stuff that you want to play immediately, and you're kind of always caught up.
Them getting rid of the one thing that I keep that for, which is like their first party stuff, and then occasionally it has the benefit of like, oh, here's this indie game that I was going to play anyway. I guess I'll play it on here because it's free. Them getting rid of the one aspect that keeps me there, I would just be like, okay, yeah, I'll just go buy those games that I want to play. What's the point? Because a lot of that stuff that by the time it does get on Game Pass, I don't have much of an interest in it. That's me personally. But you're right. For other people, I think for the masses,
I see a situation where it's like for the first 3 months, it's not on Game Pass. So for the diehards, like just buy it like a regular game, right? Yep. So you're going to get those sales, and then 3 months later,
but then you lose the diehards that are going to play it in the first 3 months, though.
No, that's what I'm saying. No, I don't think you are. I think the diehards are going to. I think the diehards are going to pay for it.
Yeah, they'll pay for it, but they're not going to pay for Game Pass. You're going to either have one or the other.
Well, no, but because I think to me it's two different markets, right?
Okay.
You have your diehards who are going to be there day one. They're going to buy the game for $70.
That's fair.
Right? Then you have your other people who are like more price conscious and don't need to play it right away. And they're like, oh, but I love that it comes out later. Right. And so it comes out for them there. And also the other stuff. And you're still going to have.
But how big is that market though?
I think it's bigger than the diehards.
I don't know. I don't know if it is or not.
I have this like really like sneaking suspicion that like the hardcore gamer, like, and when I say that, I mean the type of person who pays attention to video games on a regular basis and knows when stuff is coming out and is excited for a game coming out. Like, I think they are relatively small in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, you're probably right. But I don't know.
So there's another step to this. So, 3 months later, you have your Game Pass audience that are like, okay, cool. Like, it's on Game Pass. Awesome. And then 6 to 9 months after that, PlayStation 5 and PC. Right? Because they're obviously going in that direction. Yeah. Right? Like, I think they have made it very clear that like, it is timed exclusives from here on out for Microsoft first party.
At which point, why even have an Xbox?
But I think that's the end goal.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like,
I think if they could get away with not making a box next generation, they would totally jump on it.
Weren't they talking about like next generation stuff already, like hardware shit? And I was like,
they are, and that's weird.
That's
I was kind of surprised to hear them talk about that.
No,
Which again,
just stop.
So much of this shit doesn't make any goddamn sense.
This is now we circle back because
Yes.
I don't know what they're doing. Like they're literally after they closed Tango, they went, we need more games like Hi-Fi Rush. It's like, you just closed that studio, you dumbass. Like, why would you say that?
My head exploded, dude.
That's what I mean. What are they doing?
So one of the reasons that apparently Tango got closed is because, and I can't confirm this, but there's scuttlebutt out there that Shinji Mikami took most of the team when he left, and I think he knew what was up.
I bet he did.
It was very telling to me that he bounced as soon as Hi-Fi Rush dropped, right?
Yeah.
Or not long after Hi-Fi Rush dropped.
Right.
So I think he saw the writing on the wall.
Could be. Very much could be.
So it is entirely possible that, Tango wanted to do a sequel to Hi-Fi Rush, which honestly probably wouldn't have, as far as game budgets go, like that probably would have been a pretty affordable game.
Especially because you probably have a lot of the assets already there from the old game, and you can, it looks good
what
enough.
The loop is.
You know what the loop is. Now you just expand upon what you already have.
Exactly.
It's pretty easy to make. I would think anyway,
I mean, easy's relative, but
yeah, right.
As long as you don't fall into the trap of making it like 3 times as big and blah blah blah, right? Like,
and
scope it appropriately.
You never know, but like I don't think they would do that. I think they know what that thing is. But
if the team is gutted and so it's going and it requires them hiring a whole bunch of new people, that is difficult to train,
which was a thing that I remember hearing, that they were trying to hire new talent or something to make this thing, and so it's possible.
That becomes a bit of a problem, but here's the other thing though, right? So once they got Activision Blizzard, they all of a sudden own more IP than they can realistically work with, right? And so, maybe Tango isn't making bangers as far as like, success. And again, that's all weirdly, it's hard to quantify anymore. Yeah, Arcane Austin, had a dud with their first thing that they put out for you, but it's the first thing they put out for you. Like, again, I would say they're probably looking at the legacy of the studio more than this recent thing. But still, you have the money, right? And you have opportunity and you need games, right? So have these people like pitch things from your IP. Like maybe you step in and say like, we don't want you to do a Hi-Fi Rush 2 right now.
Right.
But here's these things that we would like, to be worked on. Pick something and pitch it to us, right?
Right.
I'll never forget, and again, EA is its own monster, but there was a time in the 360 era where I think EA was doing a lot of smart things. And one of the things that they did was they let, I forget his name, but Glenn Scoville, I think, the lead at Visceral, or eventual lead of Visceral. He was like, hey, can I take a small team and kind of go over here and prototype this thing? And they were like, yeah, go ahead. And that became Dead Space, right?
Right.
Double Fine had a game jam at one point and had like their whole staff split into little teams to make like little games. And that fueled them for almost a decade. That's where Costume Quest 1 and 2 came from. That's where Trenched came from. That's where Headlander came from. Right. And I think it was also like the genesis of Broken Age came out of that. So like, just them pausing to like try some shit ended up having them come out with like multiple products that they could sell. Right. And that's my thing. Right. So like, and I was thinking about this because like, money's been rough. And I was thinking, man, but if somehow like the show Patreon was bringing in like $500 or $600 a month for me, and then I also had this other thing that I was doing that was bringing in like $200 or $300 a month, that's transformative for my life, right? Like that is a thing where all of a sudden things are very different for me, and that's on a very small scale. Right. So if you're at like at an Xbox scale, and it's like, yeah, not everything is selling Skyrim numbers.
Right.
But if you have enough games that are selling consistently all the time, that's still money coming in. And I remember there was a time when like the reason why like we got games from Ubisoft like Valiant Hearts and Rayman Origins is because of Assassin's Creed. Right. Assassin's Creed was selling so well that it gave them the opportunity to go do some smaller stuff. And that stuff sold decently well and was very beloved. And it also looks good, right? And you also have a more diverse portfolio. And I don't know why these asshats don't seem to understand that.
Yeah.
Like,
Julian, I have a fun game we can play right now.
sure.
Let's go through every game studio that they own, and let's
Okay.
see how long you think they're going to last for. Because
Okay.
I'm curious.
Yes.
So some of these are probably not going anywhere, but we'll name them anyway. 343 Industries. That's the Halo guys. I don't think they're probably going to go anywhere, but you never know.
I don't think they're going anywhere, but their next Halo has to hit hard.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
if it doesn't, then they are going away.
Yeah, it's possible they could give that to just about anybody, and it wouldn't even be a big surprise to me.
I think most of the hardcore Halo fans would be happy to see it go to a different studio. I disagree. I've actually liked 343's stuff just fine.
Yeah,
But
it's fine.
I'm also not a hardcore Halo fan.
Yeah, it's not what Bungie put out, but like,
Yeah.
it's fine, I guess. All right, next up here, Alpha Dog Games. I'm not really sure.
They got closed.
They got close. Okay, so this is an old list. Okay,
That was the Doom portable.
That was the Doom portable. Okay, got it.
Yes.
Arcane's still around, but just
No.
Arcane Leon.
Let me so I can tell you that one for free.
Yeah.
Unless their Blade game is a hit on the order of Spider-Man for the PlayStation, they're done after that. And there is no way that a Blade game is going to do Spider-Man numbers. It's just not possible. Blade ain't Spider-Man. I'm sorry to break it to you.
I don't disagree with you. I do not disagree with you. All right, Bethesda Game Studios. They make Fallout 3 and Elder Scrolls. I don't think they're going to go anywhere. They are going to get shifted around though, because motherfuckers want that Fallout right now.
Yeah.
But
that's the other thing. You've got so many studios. You can assign other studios to this shit, right?
We'll get to that when we get to a certain developer. Bethesda Softworks. I'm guessing that's just I think that
might be a publishing arm.
That's just a publishing arm. Yeah. It said not available. Compulsion Games.
I know the name, but I don't remember what they did.
They are the We Happy Few developer. They are working on South of Midnight right now, so they do have a game.
Look good. Okay, that one TBD, because we don't know much about that game, but that trailer was such a vibe. But at the same time, so was the trailer for We Happy Few.
That's all I'm saying. They're good at trailers. We'll see how that goes.
Yes.
Double Fine. Psychonauts and
I don't know how well Psychonauts 2 actually did for them.
I don't know.
I'm honestly surprised Double Fine is still around. But even before they got acquired.
I feel like they'll be allowed to stay on there for a while, because I feel like they're beloved enough somehow that if they close them, people will be like furious. Like Tango and stuff like that, you can get away with that, but I feel like people would be pissed.
I feel that Double Fine is also working on a much lower budget than most studios.
It's possible.
Not to take anything away from their games. It's that they've been operating at a much smaller scale for a long time.
Yeah, it's possible. I'm not sure. I feel like they'll be safe for a while. Id Software.
I have to echo what Brad said on Nextlander this week, which is they made Doom, dude.
Yeah.
That is one where I feel that people would fucking riot if id was closed down.
I agree. Yeah.
Now, I could see a scenario where they divest themselves of id, right?
I could see that.
But we don't know what id's working on. That's the problem.
Oh, probably
right?
more Doom. I would
hope so. But we haven't really heard of anything from them since Doom Eternal.
If it was me, I'd have them working on like a Quake or something like that, just to bring that name back, and because I think people would be into that. Me too. To give Quake the Doom 2016 treatment would be really cool.
Yeah, I've never played a Quake, but I would definitely be down for a new Quake with what they've been doing.
My aunt is like 70 years old, and she played Quake back in the day. Like fucking loved Quake. So that's a thing. In Exile Entertainment, they made Wasteland 3, Tides of Numenera, those kind of games. They're working on Clockwork Revolution right now. I am not sure what the hell that is.
That is that very Bioshock-esque game with the time travel.
Oh, right.
And here's the thing about that. I didn't realize that those were the games that they had made before.
I didn't realize that either,
That is worrisome as fuck. Because
yes, it is.
Those are very different types of
games.
Those
are very different games, Julian. Yeah, interesting.
I love that first trailer, but that has me extremely worried because we haven't seen anything of it since.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I loved Wasteland 3. I thought that was a great game. Tides of Numenera I've seen on Game Pass lists before and like stuff like that, but it never really looked that interesting. But Wasteland 3 was really cool. Clockwork Revolution looks like not like something I would expect that game studio to make, so stay tuned for that.
If we don't see it at Summer Games Fest this year, I have doubts that we ever see it.
It's apparently set to launch in 2024 for Series X.
That's insane because I feel like we would have seen a shit ton of it by now.
Yeah, well, we've seen the one trailer, and they usually don't announce stuff unless they're set to launch it like soon enough. So let's see. I'm guessing that game will come out. I bet that game will come out. It's probably too far along for them to shut that down. But after it comes out, and we'll see how it does. Machine Games. They are the Wolfenstein people.
They were the Wolfenstein people. Now they're the Indiana Jones people.
Folks. Yes, that's what I was getting there.
Yeah, I feel that there's no winning on that.
It
pisses me off because I want to see where they would take that Wolfenstein storyline because those two games are bonkers as shit, dude, and I love them.
Yeah, they were pretty wild. We'll see how that one I feel is gonna boil down to how well Indiana Jones does, a franchise I don't think people really give that much of a shit about these days, but I could be very wrong.
I feel that Indiana Jones as a property gets by on those first two movies. And Harrison Ford. Yeah, no, you're right. And the last however many people have every time I hear about like the new Indiana Jones movie, it's people going, yeah, it wasn't very good. That's all I ever hear. Yeah.
So, oh boy, I don't know about that. Mojang, they're the Minecraft people. They're not going anywhere.
Like Minecraft is still ridiculous.
Here's the one I've been waiting to get to: Ninja Theory.
Dude, they're done. They're done. Because here's the thing, and I've been saying this for years. Go back to my previous thing.
Yes.
Ninja Theory as a studio, not historically had hits.
Nope.
Except for Hellblade, which was very specifically marketed as a AAA game that they budgeted very modestly scoped very modestly. They made it in 18 months.
Right.
And it did come out to critical and commercial success because it was also I think $30 or something like that.
Right.
Hellblade 2 is clearly not that. It was first shown at the debut of the Xbox Series console. And, that was 4 years ago now. The game is obviously very expensive.
Yes.
It looks like it is like one of the most cutting edge graphical games.
Can I read this description here? Ninja Theory built its reputation creating beautiful, detailed action adventure games like Enslaved, Odyssey to the West, and DMC Devil May Cry. Since its
We're not even going to mention Heavenly Sword.
Nope. Never happened. Since its 28, this is what website? Gamesradar.com, whatever. Should mention that. Since its 2018 acquisition, Ninja Theory has invested heavily into state-of-the-art motion capture, Unreal Engine 5, and other new technology to help drive forward Xbox Series X fidelity. The studio is working on Hellblade 2 and a new experimental horror game codenamed Project Mara. I keep thinking that.
I think I have heard of that.
Yeah.
They also had that multiplayer game that tanked that came out right after they got acquired.
Oh yeah,
Bleeding Edge.
I forgot about that. Yeah, they did.
And that's the thing, right? Like there is no way that Hellblade 2 is going to live up to the hype because the way that it has been shown makes it like the standout big exclusive for the system.
Yeah.
that game is not going to click with most people. And also, it sounds like it's going to be as short, if not shorter, than the first game, which was also very short, but also very cheap.
Yeah, I think it's budgeted like to be like a $40 game. Like if you bought it, I could be wrong about that.
Is it?
Maybe
Okay,
$50.
that's surprising.
It's not a full price game if I remember correctly. I could be wrong about that. Don't quote me on it. But I remember hearing that. And it's possible that if that game does, here's the problem with Hellblade 2 is like Hellblade 1 was popular enough and probably did okay, but still like
it did okay for its very modest budget.
Yes, and for its minimal audience that played it. And now again, you're making a sequel to it.
They made it in 18 months, right? Like there's no way that this game being in development for 4 years it's
probably been longer than that. We'll see.
No. So
we'll see
because
how
it was shown off 4 years ago, and apparently they had not started work on it when they showed that first trailer.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's excellent. That's good. That's what you want to hear.
Yep.
We'll see how it does. If it comes out and they show it off and it's really great and people like it, maybe they can make something of it. I don't know.
Look, it comes out in 2 weeks. I'm going to play it and love it because I loved the first game and I don't have, and also I loved Enslaved and I loved Heavenly Sword and I liked what I played of DMC. I just didn't finish it.
Right.
But I think the majority of people are going to be like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, I feel the same way. So we'll see. We'll see. That one is going to be interesting. I'm curious. Here's another interesting one. Obsidian Entertainment, makers of Pillars of Eternity, The Outer Worlds, which you and I like, Grounded, which I think did okay, and Pentiment.
Grounded did very well.
Yes. They're working on Avowed right now and The Outer Worlds 2. Fun fact, they also made one of the most popular Fallout video games.
Yes.
Of Fallout New Vegas.
Which is why I think that they stay, even if both Avowed and Outer Worlds 2 don't succeed, because they want somebody more working on a Fallout game.
I feel like it's if
Bethesda can't do it.
If Microsoft is like, if these two games, that they're working on don't do well, or they end up, canon one or whatever happens. Yeah. You always have that, hey, we made Fallout New Vegas and people really like that game. So if you have that, you can make them give it to us, and we'll do it.
Yeah.
And
they've shown, interest in going back to Fallout. And honestly, I could actually see a scenario where Outer Worlds 2 gets either canceled or indefinitely delayed, because there hasn't been shit shown of that since its debut.
No, very much not. So I'd be curious of that. I think they'll stick around just because of that pedigree.
Yeah. Me too.
I really am looking forward to Avowed. I hope that one's good.
I think it looks really cool. I was surprised to see like a very lackluster reaction to that gameplay demonstration they did a few months back. I thought it looked sweet. I'm really looking forward to that one.
Yeah, me too. Okay. Playground Games. They make Forza Horizon and working on Fable 4 right now.
They stay.
Yeah, probably. Those Forza Horizon games do well. If anything, even if fucking Fable completely tanks and everybody hates it, they have that to fall back on. They'll be fine. Here's another one I think is pretty safe, all in all, and that's Rare. They still own them.
If they haven't shut them down by now, they're not doing it, because I don't understand how Rare is still a thing.
They're working on Everwild.
Yeah, what is that, Justin?
No fucking idea.
We haven't seen hide nor hair of it since they announced it, and apparently, like they shifted focus on what the game is supposed to be, whatever that was supposed to be.
They can do whatever they want, I guess. I don't know. They make Sea of Thieves stuff, and people play that. So
apparently, Sea of Thieves, when it came out for PlayStation 5, was like the top selling PlayStation 5 game of the month.
Somehow, that game always amazes me. Where I'm like, oh, people play that constantly. Here's one I've never heard of. Roadhouse Studios.
Roadhouse. I think.
Let's read the description here. Roadhouse Studios is an unknown quantity. This is a studio created by Bethesda in 2019, staffed by members that were... Oh, with Human Head Studios. These guys are gone. Okay, got it. They weren't doing anything. Tango's already gone. We can skip them. The Coalition, they are the Gears of War guys.
Yeah, there's apparently a new Gears that's going to be shown off this summer, or next month.
Yeah,
so,
I think they're going to be okay.
Look, I'm excited for that because I really I thoroughly enjoyed Gears 4 and 5.
Yeah.
So like I'm ready for more Gears. Like I'm actually super excited to see what the next Gears is.
Yeah. People, you're probably not alone in that. That's a very popular franchise. So I think
but it seems that like a lot of sentiment has really turned on that franchise.
Yeah, for sure.
And I kind of don't know why, unless it's like a multiplayer thing, which I don't care about.
I don't even know if it's that as much as it's like, well, there's 6 of them, and we're tired of it. I mean, I have a friend that I work with that loves those games. So like loves all, like he gets into the multiplayer and does all that stuff. Like they're real into it.
Yeah. And it's not like it's an annual franchise, right? Like it's been years since the last Gears.
Yeah, it's so time. Like, I feel like that's one that Xbox can always kind of fall back on. It's always one. I think that's the thing is that it's like X-Men's.
Make you cry tears.
I called Xbox X-Men. It's fun. Xbox. If only. No, I feel like Xbox, like that's the other probably reason why the sentiment goes down on it is it's like, well, Xbox only has 2 things and it's Gears and Halo, and that's that's always the thing.
Hence why you need more fucking studios to make new fucking IP.
Yeah. That's it. The Initiative. They are working on Perfect Dark.
That apparently is a shit show.
That is what I've heard.
Yes.
I
Which,
would not be
surprised. And I don't.
Nope.
Look. Okay. I understand. I understand the nostalgia because Perfect Dark was the follow up to GoldenEye, and y'all love you some GoldenEye.
Yeah.
Those games were never that great to begin with, and it's folly to go back to it. This was a bad idea from the start. Yeah.
Well, okay. I'll give Perfect Dark a little bit more credit than Julian. I think Perfect Dark, I am extremely anti GoldenEye. I think it's one of those games that was like of its time, pretty cool and fun to play multiplayer, but like doesn't hold up for shit. But Perfect Dark is kind of cool. Like they had a lot of cool ideas.
It's got cool vibes and
they had a lot of cool ideas.
Still plays like GoldenEye.
It's still an N64 game, Julian. Don't get me wrong.
I know you guys love those time splitters also, but they also just play like GoldenEye, and you don't want that.
Actually, time splitters was kind of fun. They were fine. I like time splitters actually. I'm not gonna lie to you.
No, a lot of people do.
Yeah.
I'm just saying some things are better left in your memory in the past.
Yeah. But I mean, you can use that vibe and a lot of those cool ideas and make something cool out of it. Don't get me wrong. So and that name alone holds a lot of weight. There's something to that. There is something to that. But
I guess, but at the same time, it's like you had one game that people liked and one game that people hated. So
yes, you absolutely did. Which I guess third time's a charm. You know, why not?
I bought that game that people hated because it was the launch window of the Xbox 360, and I bought an Xbox 360.
Yes, that a lot of people did. So we'll see how that goes. I would not be surprised if it's too much of a mess if we never see that or that studio again.
Now, the thing that'll piss me off about that, Justin, is that Crystal Dynamics is helping them with that. And if that takes down Crystal Dynamics, I am going to flip out.
Well,
because Crystal Dynamics is one of my favorite developers, and they're already in danger because they were embraced.
Well, unfortunately, I'm sorry to tell you, it just might. We'll see how that goes. And at the end of this, I have something to say about something that was said on last week's episode. Turn 10. They make the Forza Motorsport games. Yeah, they should be fine.
Yeah.
Undead Labs. There's a State of Decay, guys. That's an interesting one.
Yeah.
It's hard to say
because we haven't seen anything of State of Decay 3 since its announcement.
Yeah. They're working on it apparently, and I don't know. I don't know how those games do or how many people really care about them.
Oh, again, so that's another. So the stuff that Microsoft has not said much about this shit this week, but the stuff that they have said has been fucking infuriating. You know, obviously the one about we need more games like Hi-Fi Rush, right? It's
of course you do.
But also, you know, one of the reasonings for closing Tango is that they had pitched a new game and it was going to take too long to make. And it's like, guess what, guys? Games take a long time to make. If you don't have anything in the pipeline, eventually it's going to dry up.
Yeah.
So like, you can't just stop making the games if you want to make video games.
Yeah.
That's not how that works.
God, the whole thing just bothers me. World's Edge, they make the Age of Empires series.
They're
currently.
fine. I have no knowledge of that world, but I know those games sell well enough.
Yeah, they probably do just okay. There's actually, I think, nope, there is no ZeniMax Online Studios. They make the Fallout 76 and the Elder Scrolls Online.
Oh, they're fine.
Yeah, guessing those should be
No.
okay.
So Fallout 76 is whatever, but Elder Scrolls Online is big.
Yeah, it's big enough to where it'll probably keep making money for them. Even
That
if it's
lady
not
loses her goddamn mind every year, like at when they announce the new Elder Scrolls. DLC.
Hell yeah. There you go. If anything for that one lady, we gotta keep her around. Yeah, so, a lot of studios in danger. Some of them are probably fine. Now, the thing that was said last episode and it has bothered me since this happened. When someone said it, and I won't say who, they might not be on the show regularly, I immediately said, you need to shut up, Justin. This isn't the time to argue with someone. This isn't the time. This isn't the time. We have to move on. But if that would have been Mike Fallick, I would have fucking lost my shit. Let me put it like that. Because somebody said, and I quote, if indie developers could work for a big like the AAA studios, they would. And I was like, motherfucker, this shit. This is why you don't want to work for these fucking people. Because they don't care about you and they don't know anything about these fucking games. God damn it.
Yeah.
No.
Well, so
that's an insane thing to fucking say. Like, I get it. I get it. You make money. The only people that do, if you're at the top, if you're at the very fucking top, if you're like a Kojima, you're good. Do your thing. But if you're not, fuck off.
But 5 years ago, I would have agreed. Absolutely.
Maybe.
Because things were a lot different 5 years ago.
Maybe.
It feels like all the stability. I mean, it's fucking Microsoft, right? Like,
yeah.
That
These
should be the
companies
most stable
don't
place.
give a shit about you. They make they fucking can print money and fucking they don't care. You are a number that is in their way.
Well, okay, I understand why it's happening, but I don't understand how people can be this short-sighted and not be like, it's like, yeah, that's going to look good for your next quarter, but the quarter after that, you're fucked.
Yes.
And eventually, like, you just don't have anything. You don't have anything.
The best point I've seen about this whole thing was the worst thing that happened to video games was video game companies going public, because the way video game production works, there's no way to make the numbers go up every time because it takes so long to make your product come out.
Yeah.
So
that's literally what the asshat at Warner Brothers was saying is that, like, in a year where like Hogwarts Legacy was the top selling game of the year, they're like, well, yeah, that's good for this year, but Suicide Squad didn't do well for us, so it looks bad for this year. And it's like, well, I mean, you should have more games on the way, right? Yeah. Like, Suicide Squad is going to do it's going to do fine eventually, right? Yeah, like over time, it is going. It's going to. I don't think it will.
I don't think it will.
No, let me amend that. It's not going to do Arkham numbers.
No.
But I think over time I predict that game, because it's Rocksteady, there are going to be enough actually players to kind of like give it like a second life.
It's possible. Anything's possible. I don't think so. I think what'll happen is they'll want to have like a real comeback moment for that game, like that makes people be like, no, look, it's good now. We promise. But I don't think their publisher is going to give them the resources or money to do that.
That's fair.
Because eventually it's just going to be like, no, shut that thing down. We're just funneling money into this hole. Like there's no point in keeping this going.
But I think the thing that really angers me about that statement from the Warner Brother asshole is that, dude, you did this to yourselves.
Yeah.
Right. And so one thing that I've seen online is like, well, Avengers came out like 4 years ago. Like they had, all the time in the world to fix it. Like, no, they didn't.
Yeah. No.
The stuff that Suicide Squad's problems were so baked in by the time, unless they wanted to delay it for 3 straight years, which it wasn't going to happen.
You're not going to happen.
The game is the game, right?
The game is the game.
And that's whatever. but the issue is like, well, apparently there's a Wonder Woman game out, but like, where's that?
Yeah, that's the thing they're working on, apparently.
You lost the Lord of the Rings license somehow, and people would be very happy for another Shadow of Mordor game.
Well, can I suggest to you Golem? It's out there. You can play it. It's a game. It exists.
Yeah. Well, that, to be fair, that wasn't them.
I know.
Yeah. But okay, they've got Mortal Kombat. That's great. Like that always does very well for them. But at the same time, it's like, but like you could do a Mortal Kombat spinoff from another studio that'd probably be pretty, like people would be into that. Like
you can do that.
There is a market for a Shaolin Monks 2 or a Shaolin Monks remaster, right? There are things that you can do.
You're dealing, when you work in that space, you are now dealing with these types of assholes that know nothing about video games and just want the fucking numbers to go up. And when they don't, and they don't understand why they don't, or what the actual market that they're in revolves around, then they start going, get rid of this, we don't need this, these guys make money, leave them.
And so this is a microcosm of a much bigger problem with our entire society, right? Which is the fact that like it's all about the next quarter, and it's very short-sighted, and it's all about number go up. And it's like, but I thought the whole point of investment was that you invest in, you put you make these bets here and here and here, and hope, this one's going to hit, this one maybe not hit as well, but maybe later on down the road it hits again, right? Like that's why you have this shit diversified. Yeah. But no, it's like, but we want all of them to go up all the time. And it's like, that is statistically impossible.
And the other thing I would like to address is I kind of knew what they meant when they said what they said on the show, so I want to defend them a little bit more. They like AAA games, and I get that. I think we all kind of do to some point. You like the big blockbuster thing.
I totally understand.
I totally get it.
But that, and I think what we've been, I don't know if I said this explicitly, but like you need your pentiments, you need your immortalities, you need your hi-fi rushes.
And what I'm hoping, and here's my big thing that I'm kind of hoping the industry goes to is like, hopefully like the technology that to make games gets to where like, no, we can do this with a smaller team and it's fine. And we're starting to get there.
That's what I've been betting on for years, is like I've been saying, like, there has to be a break point. And it felt like Unreal 5 was going to be that, because of the stuff that I've seen from there. It seems like, this should be like, make things easier. And there is more to be said about the new version of AI. But part of the problem is that tech bros have destroyed that term.
Oh, of course.
Right?
They always do.
I see a lot of sentiment online where like, if there is now a whiff of the word AI mentioned in game development, like the pitchforks come out. Yes. And it's like, no. Because I think one of the things was like, we were able to like do this faster because of AI. And people were like, rah, 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 rah. It's like, no. That's what you want. Right. You want your team to be able to do things faster and more efficiently.
You're at some point you're gonna need something like this, because or else we're just gonna keep having this situation. Like, and that sucks. And there's definitely studios out there doing it. Like, I mean, I don't know how big the Stellar Blade studio is. It doesn't seem like it's that big of a studio, but maybe it is.
That's the other thing that I wanted to say is that we have quantifiable data to show that more and more gamers are like, they like to play lots of different things, and it's not always like the flashiest thing, right? Yeah. Look at Vampire Survivors, look at Balatro, look at Helldivers 2, right? Look at Elden Ring, right? So like, not to take anything away from Elden Ring, but it don't look nearly as good as Horizon, the game that came out like a month before. Right. But it sold a hell of a lot more than Horizon.
I mean, even Nintendo games, that thing's operating on like Xbox 360 levels, and people are like, love those games. And that, as long as you have a cool look, you can do this shit. Like, and
again, they're not all going to sell 11 million copies, but they don't all have to.
You just have to. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. So there's going to come a point where like I can foresee like a situation, definitely not in the near future, but sometime in the future, where we just go, you know what, fuck AAA games and because like everybody gets worried about it, and most of the cool stuff is coming from like smaller teams, and that's where I hope it goes, because capitalism's crazy right now. It's fucking nuts.
Yeah. So my concern, and it's not even so much that I think that we're coming to a crash. I think the industry is too big to like have what happened in 83 happen again.
Yeah, no, it won't be like that.
I see a scenario like 5-6 years from now when we're getting into next generation where games just don't like there aren't enough people to finish games anymore, and the industry is going to grind to a halt. You know, if you're in high school right now, why the fuck would you want to get into game design
if you look at all the fucking layoffs and shit like that?
Yeah.
I mean, there is also the indie space and stuff like that where you can, like, if you have your breakout hit, then you make your money.
But like,
it is a big if, but you like, if you put the care and work into it, a lot of times, you can do it, but it's a big if.
I would refer back to Vanillaware, a very well-estabhed studio
absolutely,
who ran out of money while making Unicorn Overlord.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You have to. I mean, some people are bad with money. What are you going to do? They always kind of seem to be that way. God love them, but yeah, and it's complicated. I don't know what the right answer is, but like AAA games, I like them too. Don't get me wrong, but like, we're always going to have, I mean, and no big publisher is exempt from this. Like Square Enix is doing wild shit. I would say the only one that like seems okay right now is Capcom. Like they seem okay.
Dude, they're more than okay.
They seem like they're doing okay.
Yeah. They have continually been like raising, their staff's pay and giving bonuses because I just saw the article today. They were reporting the 7th straight year of record profits, and they're projected to have the same the eighth as well.
That's awesome.
And that's the thing is but they're taking really good care of their talent, and they're also making smart decisions, right? So but also Exoprimal, kind of a miss.
Yeah.
I don't expect that game that I can never remember the name of to actually do much. That real Japanese looking one.
Let's see. Yeah. I can't remember the name of it either. Forgot it.
But I think it's going to be probably well received critically, and there's going to be an audience for it. But that's okay, because they're also going to have a new Resident Evil game down the pipeline, and Dragon's Dogma 2 did really well. The next Monster Rancher is going to sell gangbusters. Mm-hmm. So they're doing great. And that's the thing, right? Is like, take care of your people, right? And that's the other success story. Power World, right? They said that they have more money than they know what to do with, because they didn't expect the game to blow up like this, and they don't want to make a new game, and they don't want to expand the studio.
Yeah.
And now I'm hoping that all of their staff is getting paid 6 figures now, because otherwise, what the fuck are you doing? But there are definitely plenty of
smaller studios that do really good. Yeah, Supergiant is a smaller studio that does really good. Yeah, I mean, you have
games running across the gamut, right? Very different types of games, very different scoped games. And that's the thing that's really annoying me is that you're expressing a little bit too. And I think there's a lot of people turning on AAA. I don't think that AAA development is the problem. I think it is the money behind it.
It's not the development at all. No. You're right. It's not the development. It is the money behind it. It is the publisher. It is the stockholder. It is the man making the decision
assholes on the board
that don't know what the hell they are doing or don't really care about it either.
Yeah. I gotta say, Justin, so Bill at A Gamer Looks at 40 just released an interview with Gail Tilden, who was the executive responsible for the creation of Nintendo Power magazine.
Okay.
And I almost skipped the episode because I was like, man, I don't want to hear some suit talk about stuff and get it all wrong.
Yeah.
Dude, she knew everything.
Oh, nice.
You could tell that she might not have known anything about Nintendo when she got on.
Yeah.
But once she got on, she got in.
Nice.
And she remembered all of the Japanese execs that she worked with. She remembered the developers. She remembered the games.
Nice.
It was she kept all the receipts, and she was clearly very passionate about it. And I was like,
nice.
That's the type
really
of
cool.
You need people like that there.
Yes.
And that's so again, to come back around to Phil Spencer, because one thing that I did want to make clear is that like I said, I've given him the benefit of the doubt over and over. I generally think that he's a pretty Like, he's been a pretty cool upfront guy for that type of, like, you know, role.
Yeah. I don't think he's stupid or anything like that.
No.
I really don't.
And even now, like, I still want to give him a slight benefit of the doubt in the sense that, like, I'm like, well, maybe it wasn't his call. It was, like, the people further up.
Yeah.
But having said that, it still falls on him, and this is a stupid ass decision, and it looks bad, and their response since it happened has been even worse. And it's like, yeah, what, like, I feel that, like,
after
there has to
this
be a
whole
culling.
thing, their best fucking bet right now is if, like, they hold their next Xbox showcase thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't put any of those motherfuckers out on
No.
stage. That is
No.
the worst possible thing you can do.
Yeah.
Show some trailers, you know,
They shouldn't do any interviews because
No.
and if they do interviews and the person interviewing does not hold them to the fire, then it's also a bullshit interview.
No. Yeah, it's going to come off so fake and stupid. Do not put them on that thing.
Yeah,
that
just-
is
just
awful
show the
idea.
fucking
Just
trailers
show
and maybe
the
have the devs
trailers,
come out.
Yeah, that's it. Maybe. Yeah, it's do not put them. It will be the most tone deaf, stupid thing you can do.
Mm-hmm.
And
I would
bet
also say
they'll do
you don't let Todd Howard say shit.
I
Like,
bet
just-
they'll do it. I bet they'll put those motherfuckers out there though.
No, they probably will.
They will?
Yeah. Because think of what the wrong move is, and that's what they're going to do. Like
That's what they're gonna do.
That's been their kind of modus operandi lately.
Yeah, it feels like they can do. God, for a while there was like, oh man, they're really doing some things. I can see what they're doing and what they're trying to do, and then stuff like this happens, and I'm just like, I really don't know what you guys are doing. Actually, I don't even know if you know what you're doing.
Yeah, if I had all of these teams and all of this talent, like I said, like I would be like, it's Christmas time, like. Bring us your ideas, and we're going to see what works. And, you know, maybe some of them go to a prototyping phase. Maybe some of them stop there, but like stuff is going to come out of there. And so I think it's Matt Booty who's always talking about, this could be $1 billion
Matt
franchise.
Booty is the one that's been talking all the dumb shit recently.
Yes.
So,
and it's like, look, not everything has to be $1 billion franchise, right?
No.
And it's like, and you also don't know what's going to be that, right?
Yeah.
So like, you could have your next Assassin's Creed, right? Like I always go back to Assassin's Creed because like that game seemed on track to be fine,
Right.
and it also reviewed fine.
Yeah.
But it sold bucket loads,
Yep.
and spawned, you know, a franchise that almost 20 years later, like, is still around, right?
Yep.
So that can definitely happen, but you know, sometimes. You know, it can be a Vampire Survivors or a Balatro or you know, like a Helldivers 2, right? Nobody thought Helldivers 2 was going to do shit.
Dude, I remember when they showed it, I was like, who the fuck is going to care about that? And then all this, and it's all I hear about all of a sudden. I'm just like, oh, never mind. I was wrong. People cared.
Best-selling games of the year. Yeah. So, like, you know, you don't always know. And yeah, like when you have a hit like that, like it makes up for the misses, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't. Again, it's indicative of a much bigger problem, and it's like, you know,
it's tough.
We should just burn it all down.
Yep, we should. We should burn it all down. I agree. No more video games. We're done with them.
Dude, I have thought a lot about like if saving the planet involves like me having to stop playing video games, it's a sacrifice that I'll make.
Okay, well, there you go. There you go.
And if I'm saying that, like, you know, that's a pretty big deal because it's kind of all I do.
Yeah, I'll let it all burn. I don't care. It's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah,
definitely let us know what your thoughts are. I'm sure this is going to be a divisive episode.
I don't think so. We were pretty much the same thing most people have been saying for the most part.
I think people probably got pretty furious with me at the top. But again, multiple things can be true, right?
Yeah,
like,
no, you're right. I'm with you on that. Like you absolutely. But like, it all kind of boils down to like if I don't know what their plan is, and I don't think any of us do, and I don't think they know what it is. That's the whole thing.
That's the wild part,
and I think that's what we all can agree on. Is that, like I don't know what they're doing.
And again, it's like, you know, you and I, like, we're not all that smart. We don't have degrees, but like we can see this shit. Like I don't know how they can't. Again, except for the fact that like once you get to that high of a level and you're so far removed from what's going on. But and that's the frustrating thing about Phil Spencer though, because he moved up from those ranks, right? And he knows the product and he likes the product and he's passionate about the product. And it's oh man,
I don't know,
Getting
man.
angry all over again.
Yep, it's wild. It's wild.
Yeah.
Oh well, and that's that topic.
That is that topic.
What else we got?
I think we just have one more thing for this edition, Justin.
Okay.
Unless you had something planned.
I got dick all. So
Okay. All right. Well, then let's take some questions, comments, and concerns.
good.
You can send your questions, comments, and concerns by email. Our email is thestageselectpod@gmail.com. You can also hit up our Discord, which the link will be in the link tree on the show notes. These questions, comments, and concerns do come from the Discord. This first one comes from Case Monster, aka Casey. He says, this is more of a scenario than a question or comment, but I think it fits here. Pick one franchise that is currently struggling. You can fix its current woes by going back in time and giving one of its past entries to another developer. Which entry do you pick, and how does that developer better future-proof the franchise? And he says, here's my example. In 2003, Sonic Heroes is replaced with Radical Entertainment's Sonic game. They take Incredible Hulk, Ultimate Destruction's open world, fast movement, and wall running to make that the focus. Sonic 3D games focus on open world gameplay moving forward.
Okay. I'm trying to think of a franchise that's struggling. And I read this question before, and I've still been trying to think of like a franchise that's struggling. That I would do something like this with. Casey's a Sonic fan. That's how he came up with this.
Yeah. Oh, you know what?
Okay.
I don't know who I want to give it to, though. I would say it's hard to say it's struggling because it's just one game. But if I could go back in time and stop Mass Effect Andromeda from being made the way it was made by BioWare, and give it to another studio, I don't know who I'd want to give it to.
I feel like I would give it to Obsidian.
I was thinking Obsidian.
If you gave them the tools, if you gave them the tools, right, and we're just like, here's the engine. I mean, look what they did with Fallout New Vegas or whatever. They basically just took the Bethesda engine and were like, okay, we'll just use this and we'll make our own game. And it was buggy as shit because that engine was shit.
But they also made it like very fast.
Yes, and they also made it very fast. But if you gave them the time and the means to do it, I bet it would be fucking really good.
Yeah, and they tell very good stories, and that I think is the core problem of Mass Effect Andromeda is the premise for the story is interesting, the execution is very bad, and the characters are boring as shit.
Yeah, absolutely. And Obsidian, good at most of those things. So that's probably who I would give it to personally. Oh man, for me, I don't know.
While you're thinking about that, I would just say, and I've said this before, but like taking his Sonic idea, not that I'm a big 3D Sonic fan, but I have always maintained, and I don't remember who the studio was, but whoever made Naruto Rise of the Ninja for Xbox 360, his running in that game is very fast and it controls very well. And I have always said that Sega should have stolen that wholesale because when I was playing it, I was like, this is how Sonic should control.
Yeah.
Like straight up, this feels so good and it's so fun.
Yeah. Man, I don't know if I have anything good, Julian.
I think because like the franchises that we care about aren't necessarily struggling.
Yeah, like I'm trying to think of struggling franchises, and that's my biggest thing right now. And I read this question a week ago and still had the same problem where I was just like, I'm trying to think of something I like that does bad now. You know what? I guess we could just do more BioWare. Dragon Age seems like it was fine for a little while, and then the Inquisition happened, and people still liked it. But that game had some problems. I'd probably give that to fucking Obsidian too.
It really feels like BioWare lost the ability to make RPGs at a certain point, and I blame EA. I blame EA. Well, I blame Star Wars: The Old Republic because that drained so much talent out of that studio. You know, they went into the Old Republic mines, and I think that's what killed Dr. Greg. I think he was the one working at BioWare Austin, and he left because of that. Like as soon as his contract was up, he was like, "I'm out."
Yeah, Yakuza's doing fine. Metal Gear you can't really give to anybody else because Konami was the problem there. What if you just took Metal Gear away from Konami and just gave it to a different publisher and let like that whole thing.
Well, yeah, like, you know, I've kind of been low key hoping that Sony would buy Metal Gear.
Yeah, you're right. Like,
I think that you can do stuff with Metal Gear that doesn't involve Kojima, and I think it could still be good. People always
possible.
point to what was that, Metal Gear, that survival game? Was it Metal Gear Survive?
Metal Gear Survive, yeah.
Yeah, that was such a weird thing that doesn't have anything to do with anything. Like, I don't really count that. That to me seemed more of like a weird, like, cash grab using the engine, and they slapped the name on it and like some tangential relations, and it's, you know.
I mean, they are still remaking 3, so.
That's true. Yeah, we'll see how that comes out.
We'll see how that comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just like in general, like if you could go into the past and like, or even like Silent Hill, like if you took that out of Konami's hands, like, and just changed publishers, like what if you gave that to like just Capcom? And you just shifted everybody that's in the Konami sphere over to Capcom or something. Yeah. And it was just like, you guys can make Silent Hill over here now. I don't think
Capcom is my answer to almost any of these, honestly. Like, yeah,
right. You could they'd probably do pretty okay. Give Diablo to Supergiant. I don't know.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. I'd be all right with that. That'd be pretty fun.
God, there should be going back to the Xbox discussion. There should be people working on bringing back StarCraft Ghost because it was a good idea. There should be a single player Overwatch game in development. There should probably be a Warcraft 4, not World of Warcraft, a Warcraft 4 being worked on. Fuck.
Nah, man. Nah, we ain't doing any of that. Yeah. I guess those are answers that I have. Yeah. What other questions do we have? Any?
We have one more. This is actually more aimed at me.
Good.
This comes from Xtrian, who says, Julian, I'd be really interested in a Patreon bonus that goes into details about Final Fantasy XI. I recall a thread you posted on Twitter a while ago that was really interesting. I have a huge fascination with long-running MMOs and how much they changed over the years. I'd love to interview people who still play these really old MMOs from its first year or so. And that's the thing, is that, like, I wouldn't mind doing that, but I don't really have anybody to talk to about it.
Yeah.
I did a little, like, thing. It was like a special with my friend Shanna on Nerds Without Pants back in the day, where, like, after the console servers shut down, we kind of did like a, you know,
I remember that episode very, very fondly, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. So there is that. And I think I've already uploaded that on the YouTube channel. So it's easily accessible.
Yeah.
But I would, Xtrian, point you in the direction of A Gamer Looks at 40, Bill's current Final Fantasy series, because he is going to get to Final Fantasy 11 at some point. And I think that'll be the place to get some really amazing stories, because I think he's going to find the people who, like, have those stories to tell. And I think that's going to be like a really fun kind of oral history of Final Fantasy 11.
You would be on that, right? Because you should
yeah.
be.
I mean,
yeah, okay. I'm not trying to be I'm like, no, you should be on that, right? Because you're the expert in that game for me, anyway.
He's interviewed me for everything. I've actually been surprised when I haven't been in certain episodes, because I'm like, I thought I said some good stuff on that game, but okay.
Well,
but I have a feeling that, like, because Final Fantasy XI is probably like one of the least played games in the mainline franchise.
Yeah,
I have a feeling I'm going to feature pretty heavily in there, because I have some tear jerker stories to tell.
Yeah,
like I will cry on that interview.
Yeah, there you go.
Because there are some very, like, important things that happened in that game that still get to me to this day.
So yeah, Xtrian, go listen to those people.
Yeah, I would recommend that. And then also, there are some really good, like, retrospective YouTube videos about Final Fantasy XI that do a far better job than I could. Because, like, I also, as much as I loved that game, I barely scratched the surface of it over a decade. Because, like, I had other games to play.
Yeah, I'm not touching it. I'm good. Sounds awful.
I think that's a show, Justin.
That's a show, Julian. That's it.
Yeah.
We did it.
Thank you for everybody listening. We're going to go ahead and start wrapping up. You can find us online. Justin, where can they find you?
You can find me at Tyrone_Swift on Twitter.com. And this is Video Games as a podcast you can still listen to. It's there.
Yeah, that you I really want you to get back to that.
I will someday, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's something that I made for it a long time ago that I think I'm just gonna put on this show, because
okay.
I feel like it will fit better. The character has maybe moved on to be in some things on here, so it might work out better for that. And we'll see how it goes.
We will. You can find me on Twitter at Julian_Titus. You can also find me on Blue Sky just under Julian Titus. I really need to remember that I'm on Blue Sky and post on there more often. I just forget. The show is on Twitter at Stage Select Pod. Thanks as always to Megan McDuffie for our incredible theme song and interstitial music. Once again.
And join our Discord.
Yes, join the Discord. Yes.
Yeah.
I've actually been enjoying that. It's been
really
nice.
Like looking at the Discord. I post music on there sometimes. It's fun.
Justin is always watching. He may not say anything, but he's
much
always
to say,
watching.
guys. That's always my thing. Is I'm just like, I don't really have much to say, and I don't know. I get weird about stuff like that. It's funny. I'll sit on a podcast and talk to people infinitely, but if you ask me to like write something down in front of a bunch of people, I suddenly become very self-conscious about it. I don't know what it is, but I'm just always been like that.
But he is the Eye of Sauron in the server.
Yeah, I'm
always watching.
Lurking. Yeah, I'm looking around. It's fun.
Yes, thanks to Megan McDuffie for our wonderful theme song and interstitials. And once again, a reminder to check out her GoFundMe in the show notes. Thanks as always to friend of the show, John Gholson, for our incredible logo artwork and being our announcer. But that is going to do it for this edition of the Stage Select. I've been Julian Titus. He's been Justin Ham. We've been the Stage Select. Signing off.
Uh-huh.
The Stage Select is copyrighted and owned by Space Monkey Mafia Productions, specializing in independent podcasting. Please consider sharing the show with your friends and support us by joining our Patreon or donating to our coffee. Thank you, and good night.
Oh, this park is very nice. All the people seem so pleasant and happy. It's given me a real chance to think about Daryl Strawberry facts for Mr. Ham. I rather like being in nature.